Hello and welcome to Podcats. I am the guest. What? What's going on?
That was very unfair, Matt.
I thought that was a decent enough introduction.
You're just like the dad sitting at the front row of the talent team, just kind of tossing tomatoes at your own daughter.
You're shit at violin.
Do it better.
You'll never amount to anything.
We never
I'm
loved
having
you.
massive flashbacks to having a father.
Oh, now you brought his dead dad into this, Matt? Fuck.
Oh, it's all your fault, Matt.
Shit.
Well,
Matt.
you've ruined the opening, but we're going to be stuck with that now.
And that's good, because this is the Outrage special. Dun,
The Outrage
dun,
special.
Dun.
Oh, actually, I have an update from last week's podcast.
Oh,
do we?
Oh,
I have played We Happy Few for 5 hours.
Ooh.
Oh.
John's
Did
played
you
as
get
well
out to
now,
the first area?
I got to the final area. They've patched
did
it
it
now.
look
You can
different?
Yes.
Really? Seriously, because the second area doesn't look different, and I gave up at that point. I was like,
Okay.
oh, it doesn't look
No,
different.
I found out some interesting things about We Happy Few, which made me like it a little more. They've patched it, first of all, so like the resources go down a lot slower.
Yay.
Some things are a lot easier to find. Some other things are a bit easier.
How do they make it easier to find?
There's just more tough
To
living.
just spawn it more often.
Yeah.
You
get
just go to
more
the linen
rolls that
emporium
die.
and there's tough linen just everywhere.
But it turns out it's randomized whether you need to do the bee thing or something else.
Yeah.
Now, it turns out there's 4 islands. There's the first island, and then you need to get into the second slum island. So, to get whatever thing, you need to get into the nice island.
Yeah, found that out in my video. That made me
Now,
happy.
it turns out, law-wise, you are put in the slum island by the police because you're a downer. It's the downer islands where they put all the downers.
I guess that for the fact
reason.
everyone else is a downer.
Yeah, but that's why it's confusing at the start when you wake up and you think, did I escape? Or, no, you were put there by the police.
It was nice to
And-
put you in a little safe room, though.
Yeah, it is.
I like
but
that you have a
honestly-
safe room on every island as well. Because as soon as you get the second island, I found a safe room. I was like, "Ooh, it's exactly the
Really?
same as the other one."
Well, weirdly, when I played it, I went to the second island and immediately left because I, for some reason, was able to get through everything really fast. And the third island becomes a completely different game. Because on the
It
third
becomes
island,
a 2D platform.
it's weird. Because on the third island, you're dealing with police. You're dealing with actual shops. You have to keep your joy high because if you're not on joy, everyone gets really suspicious of you. There are gardens. There are like really nice houses, and that's why when you take joy in the slum area, nothing gets nice because it's a slum. And the game changes entirely in the nice big island.
So what you're
my
saying
God.
is they fucked up their game by just leaving everyone in a load of shit that
Yeah.
they couldn't get
Yeah.
through to get to their
If
good
you
game.
basically just play with a
my-
random number
It's the
generator
Final Fantasy
for 10
13
hours,
problem, isn't
then
it?
at the end of that, you'll eventually just stumble across the number 7,841, and then you're allowed into a better game.
yeah.
But here's the annoying thing that at least with my random generation, I assume, was to get into the main island, you need to be on joy and dressed correctly. You need a fancy suit as well.
Yep, fine.
Got through there. You know what I needed to get into the final island?
Joy in a fancy
Beyond
suit.
Joy.
A unicorn.
No, be on joy. So I walked through the third island, which was the interesting island, and then left the third island immediately.
But what
So I
are you
finally
supposed
got
to
to
do
the
in the
interesting
third
island.
island? Just find joy?
I don't know.
This is the video game equivalent of the phrase, "If you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best."
No, the third island was the interesting island where you have to actually blend in and do all this weird shit.
But you literally just skip through it.
And deal with joy addiction. And on my random generation, I'm assuming it's not the same for everyone, I just was able to skip through it because to get to the final island, you just need more joy.
So you need to play for 5 to 10 hours in the boring, terrible, uninteresting
no.
world in
I
order
played
to spend
5
5
hours.
seconds in the interesting world that you then run straight
I
out
played
of.
5 hours on multiple playthrough. The playthrough where I got to the last island, I
What
played
are they
for 20
doing?
minutes. 20 minutes. I played for 20 minutes. I got a really lucky generation which made it ridiculously easy.
Yeah, that's the problem we have with the game, though, is that it is totally random. So there's like no.
it's
thing to
either
it.
impossibly hard.
Is it
which I
still
haven't-
all grid? Is it still all grid on like the third island and stuff?
No, kind of. So, yes.
No, kind of. Yeah.
Kind of a wibbly grid.
They
Sorry,
add
Matt.
more-
When did you start your career as a politician?
They add more sort of dead ends and roundabouts and shit into it, so it's a little bit nicer.
Roundabouts.
The last island's
Roundabouts.
the last
And
island's weird.
if you don't stay on the left and look right before you run out, then the police are onto you.
Did you know what the fourth island is though?
Space. You go to
No.
space and it becomes a shooter.
The fourth island is the second and first island without any houses.
Oh my fucking god.
That's
So it's
just
roads and some
countryside.
fields. Yes.
So you are being hunted. But definitely
But there's nothing there. You just sort of walk through it and you get to another bridge, which is how you escape. And then I died at that bridge because I had the plague and I still don't know how to cure the plague. I got the plague at the first island and I just sort of got there and died from the plague.
Yeah.
Yes,
Lovely.
I've never found any way to cure the plague.
No.
You just get the
that
plague
would
and then
be-
you die.
I heard that fire was pretty effective back in the
It's-
olden days. Just burn a city to the ground.
Like, I'm sat there going around and going, oh, this could be a really good game. Why is it so badly designed? And then
That was my response to it.
there's my more experienced view of the game. Anyway.
Well done.
Thought I'd
Hey,
give an
should we
update
get
there.
started on the Outrage special? Because we had 3-4 bits of incredible... Actually, I'll say this now, that sort of before the end, about 45 minutes before the end of this live stream, probably the entire second half, will be an entirely spoiler-filled talk about the new Harry Potter book/play, because I want to tear it a new one, and Watt and John have seen the play. I've only read the script book that was released.
I'm going to fuck off and make dinner.
Yeah, he can fuck off and make dinner. But until then, we can talk about something that Matt likes, because
he can
apparently
play
the new
Happy
Batman
Few
is
again.
shit.
Oh,
The
apparently so.
new Batman Telltale game is apparently really shit.
Well, it doesn't work for Steam. A lot of Steam users. For people who have been able to get it to work,
So it's
the
just
reviews
like the
have been
Arkham
quite
games.
positive.
It's just-
Oh.
That's actually a Batman trope now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it,
No,
it doesn't work. But if it did work, people are indicating it's good. But it just
Well, this is a
doesn't
weird
work.
thing. According to Steam reviews, I haven't really followed it. I asked for I got email. I asked for press copies. The 2 emails didn't get any response. Got an email today saying we have press copies available. Email if you want one. I did, and they didn't send one. So, I don't know. The Steam reviews are very bad. I was very excited about it, and
PC gamers get very upset if the PC version works worse than the console version, which I think may be colouring some people's perception.
yes, but still, though.
But are they colouring it black? Because if not, it's not a Batman game.
Plus, it's almost weirdly unforgivable that Telltale will be able to make this game not work on PC, given it is basically the same game that they've been making and
but this is their
remaking
new
over and over
engine.
for 5
Yeah,
years
this has
at this point.
multiplayer, local multiplayer.
Graphically, I mean, I assume it's the same engine.
Well,
Because
oh,
graphically
well,
it looks identical.
No, it is.
Hang on. Well, we glossed right over that. This has multiplayer.
Yeah,
No, it's got
you
local-
can
no.
choose to vote.
Yeah.
You vote on decisions.
Yeah,
as a
you have
group.
12 local
Oh,
multiplayer.
that's
It's like Jack.
stupid.
No,
I was
imagine
hoping I could
Jackbox.
play
Right.
someone else.
Imagine Jackbox, where you get 2 options and you just choose the option on screen, and whoever gets the most votes wins. It's the most pointless voting system
my
in the
God.
world.
Which is,
Ah.
I think, actually what happened in Star Wars The Old Republic, wasn't it? Because then if you had multiple people, you actually voted on whether you were, like, which way to go in all the choices, and whichever one the most players voted for actually was the one the story went down. I'm pretty sure that's how Old Republic did it.
Yeah, but it's not like it's just co-op, local co-op. That's all it is.
It was,
It's just
it
like
was
this
more
weird
funny in
thing-
the Old Republic, 'cause it meant just, like, occasionally, like, characters would randomly swing between utter malevolent Sith evil and mawkish Jedi virtue.
No, you know what this is? It's Twitch plays. That's all it is. But like, made into the
It
why?
doesn't work over the amount of people that Twitch have, though, does it? They actually came out on the record.
No, 12. Only 12.
Yeah, I've just looked it up. It's apparently they went, yeah, it's 12. Everyone's like, oh, Twitch kind of thing. No, 12.
But I like the idea. It's like, okay, I've got 12 friends over. Let's play this game.
See, you've now
I've got
just
12 friends, but I
totally
don't actually
sold
like
me.
them that much, and we can't talk about anything, so we've got nothing in common. Shit, distract them.
Interestingly, it's got mostly positive reviews on Steam now, even though all the most helpful reviews are negative.
Ooh.
I was going to say, you've really sold me on the idea of having one where I get to play as the Joker and someone else gets to play as Batman, and we have to see who can make the decisions the smartest.
Oh, that's real. That's a fun
That would be a
little
fun
idea.
game. Why didn't
I mean,
they do
it's
that?
Like, it's more of a one-shot kind of thing, but Telltale games tend to be. They're
Yeah.
just sort of a story that you play. Like, you actually... So there's not always a right answer because you're playing against someone who's
Else.
playing their joke around.
Yeah, so it's one where it's sort of like, if you go down certain paths, there's a sort of, if you go down this route and they went down this route, you get that ending, and you can make all the same decisions as Batman, but if Joker's making different decisions, you'll still get a different ending.
Or you could have the Joker trying to get away with a crime and you mess it up in certain ways. Like, there's ways you mess it up. You don't get away with everything perfectly. And then as Batman, you have to work out the ways it messed it up to solve out what the crime was and how it went down.
Oh, that would be really good. But that actually sounds like a proper game and not a Telltale game. That sounds wonderful, but that does sound like a proper game. We could make that game.
Is there like is there a real, like, when I say real, well, is there sort of like a film or TV thing or even book series that we can relate to Telltale of the idea of just let's make the same thing again and again but with a slightly different license?
No, a lot of people are saying that it is basically just the boring old origin story without any real interesting twist to it. It is just the boring Bruce Wayne saw parents get murdered, then decided to become Spider-Man because he got bitten by a radioactive spider on the same day, which was a really shitty day. That's two bad things happened on the same day.
This is launching, right, at the same time as Suicide Squad, and...
Hang on, is this the same origin story which has him being a child for ages that Gotham went down?
Oh, God. No, same as Suicide Squad, and right.
Do you think we're telling the Batman story a few too many times at the same time?
Well, this is the thing, though. Suicide Squad and sort of Batman v Superman went, okay, everyone knows the fucking Batman origin story. Let's skip it completely. Good. Yep. Good job. Well done. And they kind of skipped a bit too far and went straight to the end. And then also we had the cartoon out the other day as well. Dark Knight Returns. What was it? No, it wasn't Dark Knight Returns. It was
Killing Joke.
Killing Joke. We had the Killing Joke released today.
All of the non-Batman fans go, we know what it was.
Because actually, do you know why? It's because we look at that and go, yeah, that's interesting. Whereas all the other Batman shit fades together. We're looking at that like,
isn't it?
That's the thing.
We got the Killing Joke, which is a very interesting.
No, there is one Batman that's worth paying attention to, and that's Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. And Lego Batman's been launched.
That trailer at Comic-Con was just wonderful. That is everything I want from a Batman story, is having to put up with Robin and learn how to be a real human being.
A fucking Michael Cera.
Oh my god, it's basically an Arrested Development spin-off, and I'm so down with that. I'm so excited for that. That's just dreams. All just my dreams coming true.
I thought it was Emma Blackery, but
I've only started watching Arrested Development in the last few weeks. That's a fun fact about a really, really good show that I didn't quite watch.
I haven't seen it. Should I watch it?
Yes.
It's on Netflix, right?
That's where I'm watching it. It's really good. It's like genuinely, like, because I'm watching Archer as well. Because you know,
Archer's the best.
There's those shows that people say a lot about, and you're like, oh, I'm going to totally watch that thing. And those two actually hold up to the good things people say about them.
No, Archer is excellent. It goes a bit iffy on the more recent seasons when they go, let's become a private detective agency.
They're called ISIS. Like they're a secret agency called ISIS because ISIS was a thing then, and they're going, this is brilliant. So there are like 50 new jokes per episode that they just didn't intend to write, and it's the best thing.
Yeah,
it's like there's loads of explosions. Like, oh, who would believe ISIS would do this? I'm like, no. Speaking of the Olympics, oh god, no. They fired the entire security team of the Olympics 4 days before the Olympics. And now there's a whole bunch of pissed off people who know the inside and outs of the Olympics that just don't have jobs and probably not places to stay because they probably were like employed from, I don't know, wherever they still have slaves.
Oh, God.
Yeah, God probably has slaves. So there's all these people who know the in and outs of the security with no jobs and nowhere to go, just hanging around Rio right now. Rio, which is some sort of like poisonous snake pit of death, where antibiotics are going to be considered like enhancing drugs because everyone's going to have typhoid.
Swimmers to keep their mouths closed.
Yeah, because they said 3 teaspoons of water is enough to make you like really get really ill. In that's not a lot of water. That's not even a tablespoon. They couldn't even measure it in tablespoons. When you can't measure the amount of stuff that will kill you in tablespoons, you know that's a thing you should be avoiding. It's not good.
There's also the great thing in that they are covering up the slums with walls. They're just putting walls in front of them so you can't see them. Not even kidding. On the highway from the airport to sort of the Olympic Village, there are walls along the side so you can't see the things. They said they're sound barriers.
Is that what the developers of We Have
Do you know why it's sound barriers? Do you know why it's sound barriers? Because the sounds of the fucking crime, the gunshots going off, all the races will start at different times. They've
got this one clear section which just shows a new school that they built. Just they have a play section at all the
Just a
shows.
mirror, just a window. Ooh.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, they near the Olympic Village, they asked a load of people who were living near there, like, hello, I know you've lived here for many years, but we need this for the Olympic Village, so you're evicted.
Yeah, London did that as well, though, because that's what the Olympics do. I like that the Olympics are the second most horrifically corrupt, massive sporting event that we have, after, of course, everyone's favourite, the World Cup, with Qatar leading the way in 2022.
Why are these sporting events so horribly corrupt?
Oh, it's because, like, there's, like, this one is like, hey, everybody could die because of that virus thing that we have that's spread by mosquitoes, and then it could all just, like, pass around the world, and this is, like, the start of pandemic. But we'd piss off Coca-Cola, so they've got a lot of lawyers and money. So it's basically, they said they're going to do the thing, so they have to do the thing, otherwise they'll be sued to bankruptcy. And that's why they have to keep it going. It's going to be great. It's going to be fucking hilarious.
And to answer your question, why is it all corrupt, is because there's an awful lot of money in sports for some reason.
Russia's banned as well, aren't they, now?
And if there's an awful lot of money
I think they just got away with it. Or are they can abandon a sport-by-sport basis?
No, they got banned from the Olympics, and Putin came out and went, this is a travesty.
Oh, I thought they weren't banned. I thought they weren't banned.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw on the news the other day they weren't.
Yeah, it came out, they're banned! And then it was like, nah, lols, no.
What?
So like some of the teams are still banned, and then every other sport can decide whether or not to ban them, but they've been given certain time they'll never be able to do it in time.
17 hours ago, full International Olympic Committee supports decision not to ban Russia.
Yeah. You know what you really don't want to be advertising, like, because there's all these big corporate sponsors and stuff. Like, you don't want to be advertising water during these Olympics. I think that's just rubbing it in. There's many. It's going to be a shit show. But that's an outrage for next week. Next week, we'll talk about how that's going wrong. Apparently, their opening ceremony is just going to be this dude who has like a hoop and a stick, and he just runs around the whole thing like, "Let me hoop," and then it just ends.
Wait, was that not even the first of the outrages?
It was originally going to be a giant water show, but for some reason, Shamu just isn't feeling up to it anymore.
Just a massive killer whale flying upside down in this tank.
Get it in the world's biggest toilets quickly.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So
That's Finding Dory right there.
Hey, should we talk about another thing? Suicide Squad's been absolutely panned to shit.
Has it?
Oh my god, it's been panned to shit so hard, right? This is my favourite headline ever. Fans have started a petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes.
I know!
I don't know
who they're
like
expecting
tens
to
of thousands of signatures.
Who do they think is going to do this? The internet police?
But that's the definition, right, of shooting the messenger. Because Rotten Tomatoes isn't reviewing anything. They're reviewing it, that's just collecting it. But apparently it's sitting at like 39% or something. It's horrifically low. There's loads of shit that's come out about it, right? It was written in 6 weeks. The entire film. From no idea to finished script, 6 weeks.
I have mostly just been looking at the filming stories, and all of the filming stories sound like this is sort of breaking human rights sort of thing. Like, the director was totally into all of the actors being method, and it's like, yeah, who says I've got a crazy clown who goes around killing people? You should be a method actor for that. He ended up sending all his co-stars things like dead pigs and porn with him having cums on it and stuff. Like, that was the sort of stuff that happened on set. It was like...
No, Jared Leto sent Margot Robbie, like, a fucking box with a live rat in and, like, some note and a picture of some... And apparently he wouldn't interact with them off-set, and on-set he'd always be in character. And apparently Will Smith said, he's a weirdo, I don't like the guy, I didn't invite him to my fucking party.
When a Scientologist calls you a weirdo...
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah. At the bare minimum, we probably should remember, like, it's a pretty good masterclass on how to make good trailers. They made some really good trailers out of this mess.
Well, of course, yeah, but they've got all the most famous DC villains all in a room together with interesting shots with explosions. Of course, they can make
and also Captain Boomerang.
Sorry, they have not got the most famous DC villains all in a room together. Where's Penguin? Where's Lex Luthor? Where's the Riddler?
They're all fucking
Where's
up the Justice
all the
League,
good?
you know.
There are lots of.
That's the point. Where is Penguin? I
Okay,
didn't know.
they've
I
got
didn't
the ones
think about
that
this.
people cosplay as quite a lot in the
one
room.
cosplays-
Really,
for some
they have
reason.
the Joker and Harley Quinn and some others.
Deadshot,
I've had a
Killer
look.
Croc, Captain Boomerang. We all know Captain Boomerang, obviously.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
that guy that gives
Famous
you the
Captain
boomerang,
Boomerang.
in Zelda. Thanks, Captain Boomerang.
I want the full extended scene of that bit at the beginning where they say, "I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people in the world." Why is Captain Boomerang on this list? He's really, really how? He's captain. He throws boomerangs. Look, he's the worst of the worst. Okay, I'm just scared of boomerangs. All right, I only knocked him out because I'm scared of boomerangs.
They keep coming back, for fuck's sake! How do I get rid of them?
I got a Lego of I got a Lego set. It's like it's Killer Croc and Lego the Bat Tank. And Killer Croc has this cool like little mobile thing. It's got like a crocodile mouth that goes up and down when you go along. And he just has this little stick attached to it with a little thing on the top with just Captain Boomerang on, wearing his little beanie with holding some boomerangs.
Captain Boomerang is the sort of superhero that Hawkeye would laugh at. Just sort of like, you're a superhero, I've got a bow and arrow, that's a better power. At least I'm faster or
Isn't
something.
there
Exactly.
that
If
mystic
they ever
girl
ended up
that
in a
I've
bit of a
never heard
standoff
of?
where one of them's about to shoot the other, Hawkeye's going to win because the arrow gets to go in a straight line.
Yeah. It's like he just
Captain
throws it off to the
Boomerang,
side. Wait a minute. It's coming round.
Do you mind if I throw mine 2 seconds, before you? Because then it's fair.
Got Ant-Man hanging on the end of a boomerang. Fuck! It's got 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Suicide Squad, 24% top critics.
I'm quite concerned because the problem with DC, right, is they have, I think, probably the strongest lineup of superheroes. And
Clearly
No.
not.
No, they've got the better villains. They've got the better
can I
heroes.
make
They've
a
got the better
point?
villains.
I'd like to make a point that's very important. The highest, because the DC's doing this DC Extended Universe thing, just like Marvel, the highest rated DC Extended Universe film, which is Man of Steel, has 55%. The lowest rated Marvel one is Thor the Dark World with 66%. Marvel's worst is still 11% higher than DC's best at this
but
point.
this
That's
is
harsh
what I
to
mean.
Dark World. It was an alright film.
No, Dark World's awful.
But this is the thing that
I've
when
not
I say
seen it.
they
good.
have the strongest lineup, I just mean like they have probably some of the most recognizable superheroes and villains.
They have Superman
Easily.
and they have Batman, and then everyone else is Marvel.
Wonder Woman, Flash. Most people know those people, and the
I
villains
thought
especially.
Flash was
Batman
Marvel.
Okay.
No, he's DC.
I always thought that Flash was Marvel, and I saw him he was in the trailer for Justice League, and I was like, why the fuck's this guy there?
Were you watching that scene because Rick and Morty are in the background?
Yes, Rick and Morty are in the background.
That is the
best bit,
highlight
yeah.
of the DC universe. Is
Actually-
one screenshot of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I think it's the problem with DC at the moment is Warner Bros are far too controlling, and they're trying to mainstream everything. And they're
Well, I
taking
don't
it
even-
away from DC and not letting DC do their own
Honestly,
thing.
no, I don't even think it's just that. I think it's that they are literally they're rushing to keep up with Marvel.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what you say that they wrote
Yeah.
the script in 6 weeks because they're rushing.
You
to
can't
fucking
do
catch
the
up with
Avengers
Marvel.
without the films that came before them to set it all up.
No, and they tried to do the Avengers in one film.
Yeah.
And the
You
other
know-
problem is that DC fundamentally are based on an older generation of heroes. And the problem with that is they come from a generation of which they're nearly all gods, which makes
Yeah.
it really hard for them to coexist. Because you're like, I've heard the argument that any member of the Justice League can destroy the entire Avengers, and it's true. Like, but because of that, there's no reason to have all of the Justice League together, because there's nothing strong enough. Whereas if one of the Justice League comes into the Marvel world, you need the Avengers because no one's quite that good, and everyone's a bit more fallible in the Marvel universe, which
Well, that's
makes
that's
for
why I really like
good
Batman
plot.
because you're just wandering around with all these fucking gods, just like I'm here as well. Hello.
Well, Batman is Tony Stark. Batman and Tony Stark are pretty much the exact same character. They just
No,
have lots of
Batman is
money and
interesting.
technology.
Tony Stark isn't. Then.
No, Tony Stark is interesting. Marvel's
Tony
mainly
Stark
very
is
uninteresting.
interesting.
Yeah, very.
Is he?
Tony Stark's an incredibly interesting character, what with, the fact he's a fucking warmonger who turns good after seeing his shit that goes down. He's a massive alcoholic. He has a lot more demons than Batman's dead parents.
Yeah.
And he's gone on a really interesting arc over his 3 films and 2 Avengers and everything.
Alright,
has.
I am not talking about fucking Tony Stark and Civil War, because that shit pisses me off, because his arc's like, and we reset, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of Iron Man 3, like, I'm like, alright, you draw the line there, that is told that guy's story. And
Yeah.
then in Civil War, he's like, oh, I'm still doing it. And I'm like, okay, that works sort of with his addict thing, but I feel like he actually had a breakthrough and escape from all this, and this is just like pulling it out.
Wasn't that like the
it.
reason? Like they're like, oh, Pepper isn't here because we had a fight. It's like I feel like they just used that. They just were like, okay, we need a reason to get him back in the suit.
Well, they're
okay.
losing
Yeah.
all
We
of
can't
the
be bothered
women.
to explain this.
Yeah.
Gwen's fucking okay. We can't get her back for this film either. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll just say he's addicted to it and she's left him temporarily.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
what the excuse they're going to be for getting rid of Natalie Portman is, because they don't want her back anymore. She's too expensive.
Yeah,
So I
they
don't know how
don't
they're
want
going
any
to
of the
explain
girls,
Thor
really.
doesn't want Natalie Portman anymore.
Well, just knowing Thor, they were like, yeah, she was eaten by a demon, and then they'll just carry on and nobody else.
She's busy being a scientist in Peru where there's no phones.
Yeah.
So...
I'm
There's
actually
also
curious.
phones.
here's a letter from her saying she'd now like you to be in an open relationship, so feel free to go and be with someone else.
No, I'm actually
yeah.
curious whether or not Marvel are about to start running into a problem of people refusing to take smaller roles in films. Because now they've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if they offer you someone's love interest and you're like, yeah, but I've seen who else you have in your roster, and I'd actually like to play a lead at some point, so I'm gonna... Like, are they gonna hit the point where they're like, no one's going to actually agree to be the sidekicks because everyone wants to be the lead characters in 5 years' time?
See, I don't know, because we've had a lot of really minor characters, like big actors in minor character roles. I mean, like Martin Freeman was my favourite example of just turning up in Civil War playing God knows
Oh,
who
but
that
the
film
Yeah,
is.
but he's
No.
clearly gonna be coming
The
back
Dean was my
over and over again.
favourite. Actually,
He
no,
was playing.
not the Dean.
He's
My
credited as
favourite.
the Dean as well.
Is he genuinely credited as the Dean?
Yeah, he is.
Oh my god, that's in character. Oh
He's
my
the
god.
Dean of the university, you see.
Oh my god, everything's great. No,
I know.
my favourite everyone is Iron Man 3, and it's what's his face from Happy Endings. I can't remember the name of. The
Yes.
guy who like freaks out and is super
Yes.
sad that it's Tony Stark. That whole scene, I'm in floor. If you've never seen Happy Endings, I think it's cancelled now. One of the finest sitcoms of any time, really. Super just. Oh my god.
Was that okay?
I'll take that back. It's not the finest. It's just so fucking funny. The quick fire dialogue, which normally I'm like, I'm not super keen on, but it is like it's machine gun dialogue. It's stunning for it. Of course, the best sitcom of all time ever is Better Off Ted, and there will be no arguments to that fact. Not on
I'll
my
have
podcast.
Coupling, but Better Off Ted is definitely up there.
Coupling is a very close second because of the 4th series.
I think-
Sorry.
Faulty Towers.
I think-
Loses points. Faulty Towers isn't funny. I recently
Faulty
rewatched
Towers,
Faulty Towers,
fuck
and I'm
you.
like, nah.
Some of it hasn't aged well. Some of it really actually hasn't aged.
Yeah, what's his face? The Colonel saying, and I'm going to call it here, the N-word a fair bit is, doesn't age well, that. Doesn't age super
Honestly,
well.
the whole Germans episode doesn't really stack up particularly
No.
well. That's just
what I
become
watched?
that's just become weirdly uncomfortable and weird.
I saw Tarzan today, the Legend of Tarzan. Right?
Why? Did you have nothing else? I'm not working you hard enough if you've actually got time to go see The Legend of Tarzan.
I'll go see any fucking film now at this point.
I
I'll
literally,
just see them
I've got
for
to the
free.
point where I'm like, I'm just going to get it on DVD because the space is now like 2 or 3 months.
The fact-
other day,
the fact
in
that you-
Sainsbury's, here's Zootopia. I was like, shit, I thought that wasn't even out in cinemas yet. So, who
Oh,
cares?
Zootopia's wonderful. Well worth watching.
I'm looking forward to watch that. I've still got Deadpool to watch as well.
No, but this is
That's
it,
very
Dan.
good too.
It's cheaper for me to just go to the cinema because it doesn't cost me anything to go to the cinema and watch them.
Why? Do you break
fact
in?
that
It's because
you-
you wear all black. You just sneak in
No,
when the lights
because
are
I
on.
pay £15 a month to see on the
He also gets in on
Okay,
child
so
fare.
it does cost you money.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't cost me getting it on DVD later is more money than
DVDs
regardless.
are like £8.
Regardless, I went to see it today, right, and I thought it was a remake of Tarzan. No, it's a sequel, and it deals with racism and slavery, and also the Belgians being dickheads in the 1900s.
I hate the Belgians. What a
The
bunch
Belgians.
of dicks.
Fucking
Belgians.
Belgians.
Christopher Waltz plays an angry Belgian.
Oh, Christopher Waltz is in it. I'll watch that then, yeah.
Christopher Waltz is in it. Oh, also Sam Jackson's in it. He's Tarzan's sidekick, and he doesn't actually do anything for the whole movie.
Bloody chip-eating
Hang on,
bastards.
wait, sorry. I don't want to sound racist, but isn't Tarzan's sidekick normally a monkey? Like a big monk? That's normally his thing.
Oh yeah, he fights the big monkey.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure There wasn't someone in monkey face. That's basically
No.
what I'm trying to say.
No, but they use they use many N words. They use negress. Which that's a good one.
Brilliant. That's a wonderful word.
Yeah.
It
was a weird. I was sat there going, and there's these weird sex scenes, and there's this bit where like
With the
she's
monkey?
wandering
With the elephant and the monkey.
She's wandering through this house, right? Mary Jane, and
Mary
she's
Jane?
just like
That's Spider-Man.
Mary, fucking whatever.
Jane. Me,
Where's
Tarzan,
Jane?
you, Jane. It's in the
Yeah,
title.
that they do say that many times, and Jane's in, and she's wandering through the house, and she's like, bird sounds like, mating call of that bird. Ooh, it's a mating call of a cheetah. Ooh, mating call of an alligator. And then he comes up behind her, and they start fucking snogging, and then they go, I was like, is this a kid's movie? Because this is dealing with some pretty intensity. Like, she has a miscarriage at the start. Like,
What? The start of the bang? Jesus! And he kept going. Fuck! He must not have had much jungle loving.
Well, she was making the noise of an alligator mating at the time.
this is a 12A, and I'm sat there through this whole movie thinking it was a fucking kids movie, and I'm going, this is some pretty heavy themes. Really.
Back in my day, Toy Story was a 12A because it got a little bit scary. Kids have anything.
Well, hang on,
these days, they're
what
ours.
rating was Up? Because
Up
Up
was
is
a U.
bloody...
Up
the-
was a U. But see, that's the
What?
thing, right?
You
If
can't
it's
have Up being a U. The opening's traumatising.
If it's got
Oh.
titties in it, it's an 18. If it's got the insides of a human being
Well, Fifth
splattered against
Element's
a
a
wall,
PG.
it's a 15, right? If, and this is the important one, if, so we got titties, the gore, if it's devastating, then it's a U.
Kids
Kids have to learn. Kids have to learn.
They do have this scene of a gorilla just fucking repeatedly pounding Tarzan's back and breaking it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa,
It's
a gorilla fucking
impact,
pounding
like,
a Tarzan.
Jesus.
Fucking hell, man.
Right, I just have to go ask you a
You could
question.
have picked a better phrasing for that.
Did you go, like, to this little seedy cinema, like there's only people wearing trench coats and sunglasses in?
There were children there.
Oh,
One of them
dear.
started crying and had to leave.
It makes it even worse, Matt.
It wasn't like Tarzan Masturbator of the Jungle or anything like that, was it? No?
It was so weird. And then Christopher Waltz gets eaten by alligators at the end.
Oh, spoiler warning!
Oh, it's just like the whole time I sat there, like every time something happens, I'm like, fucking hell, this is some pretty heavy shit. And then
Wow.
And then Jane goes for an abortion, and Tarzan follows her into the clinic, and they have sex on the table, and bloody hell.
But then Jane regrets it and she commits suicide at the end using like Tarzan's like knife that his dad gave him and some shit, and like he finds that he has it with him still, but it feels like dirtier now somehow.
No,
And he goes up to a monkey, and the monkey pounds him and pounds him.
And he was
When they-
really looking forward to No Man's Sky, and now that's shit, and he's lost everything in his life.
When they both died, did they get a tombstone that says he was Tarzan, she was Jane?
Wow, that is dark as fuck.
one of the great bits in it is there's fucking right.
It sounds all pretty great, to be perfectly honest.
It just sounds amazing.
One of the villains of the film who wants Tarzan dead. It turns out he wants him dead because Tarzan killed his son,
Right?
That sounds
viciously
reasonable.
murdered his son, and Tarzan's like, no, it's fine. He killed my mother, and he's like, what the fuck? How he was literally a child, and he was like, well,
He's Belgian. Fuck Belgians.
Belgians.
Bloody
like,
chip-eating bastards.
No, he was like, we have to stop the Belgians, and he's like, why? And he's like, because they're going to get mercenaries come and enslave you all, and he's like,
Very few films touch upon the fact that we do need to stop the Belgians. Doesn't come on.
Yeah.
Did
It is
the Belgians
nice for
have
us
a
to
really
have.
sinister imperial theme music where when the Belgian army marched in there was a really brassy theme playing?
It was
So everyone
great
knew
because
to fear the
it's like
Belgians.
the Belgian king has taken over the Congo. He is broke, and he's having to enslave people to get diamonds to pay mercenaries to also hold the Congo and get more slaves.
But
Wow.
Bloody Belgian.
it's nice for it not to all be blamed on the British for once, because it's normally our fault.
Well, in all fairness, in Africa
You know,
it
the
was
British are in
mostly
it.
our fault.
The British are in
Yeah.
it with their amusing mustachios.
I'd like to point out it's got a 35 on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's a little bit better than Suicide Squad.
Actually, what's the guy's name? Oh god, he's a guy in Harry Potter. The old
Daniel
Albus
Radcliffe.
Dumbledore.
No, not Albus Dumbledore.
Severus Snape.
He was one
Horace
of
He's
the.
a
Slughorn.
Pettigrew.
He was one of. He was
Bertha
one of the chief.
Backshot.
Hagrid.
He was one of the.
Steve. the
Slughorn.
wizard.
Yeah, no, actual Slughorn.
Serious?
Slughorn. He's in it. He plays the Prime Minister, I think.
Oh,
Belgium?
Thingy. Thingy McThingy.
No, England.
Oh, you mean...
Slater. Slater.
Broadbent.
Roy Slater.
Broadbent.
Not his real
Broad-
name, he's from Running Fools and Horses. What's his name? Jim Broadbent. Thank
Jim
you, Brain.
Broadbent.
Did you
Yeah.
know he
A
was
legend.
actually originally going to
I
play
said Horace
Del
Slocum,
Boy?
and you said no.
He
Wasn't
plays
he?
the Prime Minister, and he has a very amusing
He
moustache.
plays he's the sort of Prime Minister role. He was originally going to play Del Boy, wasn't he? That's a genuine fact.
Was he?
He was the first up to play Del Boy, but then they got David Jason, and they liked it more because they cast Rodney first, and they went, if we have David Jason, who's really short compared to Rodney, who's really tall, that makes a really funny elder brother, younger brother mechanic, where it's the other way around. And Jim Broadbent's really tall, so they went, look, we'll put you aside, but we'll bring you back for the role of Slater later on. So there you go. There's a fact you learnt there.
That's interesting.
Let's have a chat because we've gone through whatever the fuck Matt watched.
Yeah, you're supposed to be getting outraged about
No,
things,
I was
Dan. What
finding
do you want to get
Dory as
outraged
well,
about?
and It deals with the horrible effects of Alzheimer's at the start, with Dory forgetting her family and getting lost, and
Oh
then
my God.
forgetting that she forgot her family, and then
God.
being alone.
You what?
It's very
this is why I
sad.
don't watch films these days.
But they just played that for laughs in the first one, and there was no problem.
No, in this one, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, and she's really like
In
self-conscious.
fairness,
that
it is a
she's forgetting
Pixar
all the
movie.
time.
If they don't get you crying
Oh.
and breaking your heart
Oh.
into a billion
Fuck.
pieces and messing
the
up
worst.
kids, they're not happy.
Oh,
I'm still bitter
It's
after
worse.
Inside Out. I'm sorry.
I know,
Oh.
I know you are. Hey, let's
I also
right,
saw Jason Bourne, it was terrible.
Let's hit the outrage because I'm going through the internet's outrage. Batman, the Suicide Squad. I want to hit on the big one, which was No Man's Sky. Did anybody watch the leaked No Man's Sky footage? Because a lot of it came
you
out.
I've not
sent me
seen the
it,
footage,
and
but
I
I have
watched it
seen
briefly.
notes about it.
I've watched as much footage as I can get because I want to know. I'm like, I want to see what this game's like. And there's some really disappointing stuff in there. Like, I mean, the person who's leaking it had a PS4 copy, so pop-up was really severe.
no, I want to point out, Dan sent me a message going, oh my God, look at the fucking field of view. And it was...
Oh, the field of view is like 4. Like, everybody now, get your hands and cup them and put them on your side of your heads and now tilt them, like, just so they're about to close in front of your face so you can just... Like you were watching, like, your mum being murdered while fucking your dad. Like, that's how little of this you want to see. That's the field of view of No Man's Sky. It is.
And that's a scene in Tarzan
so
as well, funnily enough.
with the knife and it keeps on... yeah, it's...
And then there's a Belgian who comes in.
offering chocolates, the bastard.
Bloody
It's all
Belgians.
about, like, chocolate rights and stuff, and actually the racism's a metaphor for different types of chocolate. Oh, it's weird. Yeah, so it's got a really shitty field of view. I really hate the fact that when you're landing on a planet, like, the planets look really nice and, like, big, and you can see everything on a planet. Like, it's a bit of clouded area, but it's like, you see the whole planet. And then as you come down, the fog of war sets in, and it's just, as soon as you land, you've got, like, a couple of football pitches distance. Like, that's all they spawn. And that, for me, is the biggest killer of that game. That absolutely slaughters
You need the scale.
why of that game. Because you
need the
need to
distance.
go, oh, holy fuck, I'm on a planet.
Yeah, like Mass Effect 1 did.
Also, this fucks me off to no end. You can't crash your ship. You can't plow it into a mountain. You can't crash it into the sun. Your ship, like, just goes, oh, I can't do that. It feels very handholdy. Like, you don't dock yourself. It's all like, oh, we're going to take out the docking thing for you. And the big ships that you see, those huge, massive ships appear in the trailer, they don't exist. The dude just flies right through those.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people now out there with footage. There's streams going on all the times if you want to get something. It looks okay. I mean, there is like this guy found. I mean, there is an actual game breaking bug this guy found, but he found like a glitch in the mechanics to basically let him hop between these two things and gradually progress to the center of the galaxy in about 10 hours. Like the dude, like I think within like 20 hours had platinumed the entire game.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's more that he found exploits than a bug,
No,
really.
see, I've now watched it. It does not feel like an exploit. It's very deliberate, and that's what I'm there going. Really? Like, because it gives you. There's like if you go to a certain place, then go to another thing. If you jump between these two things, you get given enough fuel to keep jumping between these two things. But the fuel is like on these pedestals. Like, take the fuel. It seems like they actually want that to be a thing. I don't know why they would want that to be a thing, but they kind of do seem to want that to be a thing. It just looks. I mean, there's a lot of bugs and stuff. There's like my favourite one ever. He's got this giant fish, this giant shark that's like just in the middle of nowhere, just struggling to survive because it's spawned where there's no water. You can only go
They call
down
him Jeff.
128 meters. They don't call him Jeff. I wish.
You know, right.
Planets
there
aren't
was-
round, right? This is a weird thing. Planets aren't round.
They don't have to be. Planets can be elliptical.
No.
Yeah.
They're flat. When you go
What?
down towards them, it actually the way the game works, you can see it when the game's actually working, is they actually then fold the planet out a little bit. So it's actually a big flat plane. I mean, it loops round, but it's not actually, it doesn't register as flat. I believe, therefore, the reason they're actually putting that fog of war up, one of the reasons, is because there isn't a horizon. You'd just be able to see forever. Because they actually render it as a flat plane. That's how they are rendering it in that game.
But then what happens if you just keep going indefinitely?
You'll loop round, but I assume they mapped it properly, which is quite difficult.
It sounds like the planets would look fucking tiny if they didn't.
Oh, the planets are really tiny. You'll see like a few islands, and then they'll get close, and it's sort of you go like, okay, that's not huge. It's nothing. Nothing is on the scale of Rodina in that game. Nothing that I've seen.
Or fucking Space Engine. Fuck me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like for me, I love Rodina. Rodina just got an update. There's now like first-person combat and shit. I had a wonderful moment playing Rodina where like I bailed out of my ship because it was like. It was crashing towards a planet and the engines weren't working. I'm like, this is bugged out, but I'm going to bail out my ship. And then it crashed, but it crashed but survived. And it was like, it was on fire, so the health of it was ticking down. And I had like just enough time to get there and put the fires out, and then I could repair the ship. And I was like, that's so cool! Can't do that in No Man's Sky. I can't just bail out your ship halfway through. I believe as you go to a planet, it like auto-lands you or something. I'm not into... I think you can fly around sort of the atmosphere, but it seems to be very controlled. It's very... You can get
like, it goes, look how open we are, and then just...
Yeah. No. But like this thing that this guy could find is actually like shown on your map, and it gives you... Because they were like, oh, you got to learn the languages. It gives you like a whole bunch of words, it upgrades stuff for you, it gives you the fuel, and you could then just like do these 2 jumps to get to another one. There's no real hunt involved. And the thing that really fucks me off, and like I'm seeing the footage, I'm like, actually, I may actually enjoy this game. Like I am gonna enjoy this game, but the real killer is that every planet this dude went to had life on it. And I remember them saying when they started, like, 1 in 10 or 1 in 100 is going to be, like, that'll have, like, trees on it, if you're lucky. And then 1 in 10 or 1 in 100 of those will have actual life on it. So it'll be, like, rocks. But you mine stuff, so the rocks are kind of useful. So it's, like, dead planet, gas planet, that sort of thing. And then, like, oh, life! So you get really excited about it. But apparently, like, every planet is, like, teeming with life.
Oh.
So it's nothing on the levels of, like, the thousands of life forms that we've seen in the trailers. There's always, like, 1 or 2 bits. So it's sort of like a weird middle ground.
Also, if you are a plant, we would like to apologise that Dan just described you as not proper life.
You're not proper life. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Do plants vote? No. Do they look cute? No. Fuck them. There's no points to them. They're there to make vegans feel superior to the rest of us.
Can we cut this bit out of the version that goes up on YouTube? Because I'm uncomfortable with this level of plant prejudice.
Why do you think what's here? Here's my plant. That's a weird... what the fuck did that even mean? But yeah, anyway... The No Man's Sky subreddit has half exploded and half not. Right, the guy who makes it, I don't fucking know his name, but the actual like official Twitter dude, like they've not mentioned what the fuck's happening with the PC release. Like even now, we don't know when the PC game's coming out.
I've sent them
the 12th,
like 3-4 emails to like 3-4 different...
I think it's the 12th, because their website says the 12th, but Steam says the 10th, and most other places say it's coming out on the 9th on PC still. Their website updated to say the 12th, they didn't mention it, but he did put out 3 tweets to say, please don't watch the leaked streams.
Also, I've heard from a couple of different sources that review copies are apparently going to be extremely late and hard to come by.
Yeah.
Well, they've ignored all 4 of my emails to them.
Yeah, we've had... a lot of people have had to go through Sony to get the PS4 review
I emailed Sony as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have got them through Sony for PS4. I don't think there's going to see much PC action for a while. Don't know why the PC
I emailed 3 of their emails, and I emailed Sony, and not a peep.
Yeah, it's a... Yeah. I mean, looking at the game, I'm like, it's kind of... I like the call, I like the fact you can go to the galaxy, etc. It looks kind of... I'm not super keen on the fact you sort of zoom out your ship to see the galaxy. I think that's a weird little thing. And it does... It looks a lot more like an indie game now I've actually seen non-ultimate scripted gameplay. Like, there's a lot of, like, clipping through stuff, and there's a lot of problems and errors and things. But I don't know, it kind of looks fun. There's a few little really interesting creatures that the dude's come across. I mean, there was one that was fucking atrocious. There was, like, 3 things all glued together that's been put around the internet. But the other stuff looks quite fun.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
yes,
to all of you, how disappointed do you think you'll all be on a scale of sort of... 1 being not at all disappointed, and 10 being, you know what? This doesn't really work considering I just forgot the name of the game.
No Man's Sky?
We Happy Few. There we go. On scale of 10 being We Happy Few.
You think 10's We Happy Few? That's like a 4 for me. I've known bigger disappointments, boy, than you'll ever know.
I was really disappointed with that, but then that's really my sort of thing. It's really my sort of game.
You knew what it was going into it as well.
I knew what it was, and I bloody backed it. Darling. Another indie game darling that had heavy promotion. Looked really good from the trailers.
For me, No Man's Sky is going to be like a 1 worth of disappointment, because I had no hype for it, because I saw that short draw distance and I went, that's nothing.
I'm looking at the trailer now. I'm just seeing things just pop in like 5 feet from his fucking face.
Yeah.
For me, it's not going to be more than like a 2. I just thought, you know what? I'll play it. I'll make like a video. I'll probably put maybe more than 3 to 5 hours into it, and then I'll probably never play it again unless it really nicely surprises me.
Yeah, the thing is for me is it never really interested me, and they always spent so much time talking about it at E3 and conferences. Just the fact that it's out and people will stop talking about it will put it up. In my book,
I think it's kind of an interesting PR case.
That is
I think
just
it should
because
be
of me.
remembered.
That's not got anything to do with the game. It just doesn't do it for me.
What they always say in PR is, you under-promise and over-deliver. And like a lot of people were saying, when it was on Conan and stuff, this game's going to change everything. It's going to be the best game ever.
No one's ever said that to Peter Molyneux.
The moment you set the expectations, or the expectations get too high, it doesn't matter. Even if the game is really good, it's still going to disappoint everyone.
It's like what a stand-up comedian says. If you're sort of comparing something, you'd never go, and this is the funniest guy in the world, because the audience are going to there go, yeah, all right, bring it.
Yeah. But they ran with it. They kind of, they've put those quotes about how it's amazing and world-changing and whatever on the Steam page and stuff.
They had a game that looked incredibly beautiful. It looked incredibly beautiful, and they went, look at this really beautiful space game that we've got, and we're not going to tell you anything about it. Just that it's an incredibly beautiful space game. But then, the reason we found out that they weren't telling us anything about it is there's very little actually in it.
Oh, it says the 12th on the Steam page now as well.
Ah, okay. So they actually delayed it 3 days, but haven't yet announced that.
Yeah.
But I'm more than willing to go on the thing going, hey, could you not watch the streams? No, I'm fucking glad I watched those streams, because there's some stuff that I wanted to know, and now I know.
Oh, PC exclusive pre-purchase offer. Kickstart your adventure in No Man's Sky vast mysterious universe with the Horizon Omega ship, equipped with an upgraded hyperdrive and increased firepower. So if you pre-order it, you get a better ship. Yeah,
the ship's changed literally nothing.
Yeah, that's one of the big things they said. Ships are basically cosmetic.
Yeah, ships are...
Got better firepower. Faster.
Well, I assume they'll just do more damage as a boost. Like, they get those games where you get, like, you put the cheat thing in. You get, like, a thing that's like, skip the thing. I assume it'd just be, like, a thingy boost. A lot of games do that. Fucking the next 2K17, the next WWE game, you get, like, a bonus to your experience while you're staying in NXT if you pre-order the game. I'm like, bonus experience is, like, the killer for that game.
Okay, just to disclosure, I pre-ordered the collector's edition.
You twat.
I know. I also pre-ordered the collector's edition to Dishonored 2, which isn't twatty. Though,
I pre-ordered for the collector's edition of fucking nothing.
But
I will try and get one of those.
No, GTA 5.
Cheap. I didn't pre-order that, baby. No, I bought that.
Fuck the GTA 5 collector's edition. Fuck GTA collector's
get a review copy of it.
I have the GTA 4 collector's edition. You know what it comes with? A fucking safety deposit can.
What?
Safety
and
deposit
a duffel bag.
Can?
It's not a can, it's like a fuck. You know the things you always see in safety deposit boxes, the fucking metal drawer thing?
A drawer. Not a can.
You know
the metal drawer things. A drawer?
It's a safety deposit box.
Not a can, anyway.
It's basically a can. It's basically a can. For all intents and purposes, it is a can.
I've never actually been inside a bank vault and examined it myself, but I would imagine if I did, I wouldn't just find a huge amount of cans.
I mean, I doubt the ones in bank vaults can be opened with the like back end of a spoon.
I'm googling a thing. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm googling what the definition of a can is. Like, because I would have, for me, a can is a spherical, cylindrical, even shape, and that being cuboidal.
It came with a fucking art book, a Rockstar duffel bag, a soundtrack, and a fucking safety deposit box. A really shit safety deposit box.
Because it was a can, which is the shittest kind of safety deposit box.
So
a can with safety deposit box written on the side.
A cylindrical metal container, according to Google, and
you know what? Fuck off.
Put money in here. It said on the site. It was really shit.
If it's not a cylindrical, it is not a can.
I have to interrupt. The No Man's Sky subreddit, which I really should have been doing a wonderful job of watching, they're basically going, oh no, this is definitely a dev copy. They're kind of like everybody who's leaking the footage right now. They're all got dev copies or demo or early versions. Like, this dude is platinum the game. Like, he's finished it. No, it's early. It's a dev copy. Okay.
Yeah, the dev copies clearly have that in.
Yep.
You know, I really hated the Fallout 4 kind of Elite Edition, where you kind of got the Pip-Boy that was just a tin can you put in your wrist and it had the word Pip-Boy written on it. That was shit.
John, I don't like you.
Matt, you've opened up a can of worms.
Oh, all right, Matt, as you're not going to be able to say much during the Harry Potter bit, would you maybe like to provide your commentary on the various bits of Rainbow Six Siege news, as you are the only real Rainbow Six Siege
Okay,
Well-
I'm going to go after him, back.
Well, right.
I'm not, I'm just going to sit here, bored.
They have added 2 new Brazilian operators, which are going to help keep the poor people away from the Olympics.
Yay!
That's basically it.
Do they have
2
weapons that can give the other players the Zika virus?
No.
That's a shame.
They've just added 2. They've just added 2 new characters and a new map. They've done that 2 times.
What about the
already.
cheating thing?
What cheating thing?
They've just added a client-side anti-cheating measure on top of their server-side anti-cheating measures. I thought
that's
maybe
neat.
you'd like to
I've
talk
never-
about that, about
I've
the
never had
prevalence
an
of
issue
cheating in
with
the community and so forth.
I've never had an issue with cheating in it. I've never seen someone cheat.
Well, they seem to think it's a serious enough issue that they've just put their first ever client-side anti-cheating system
Honestly,
in.
right? The Rainbow Six Siege devs seem to be so, like, they listen to the fucking community to shit, to the point where if 5 people complain about cheating, they'd fucking put that in.
Well, that's a really good sign. It's probably also a really good
is.
sign that it's like it wants to
No.
grow itself as an esport. That they want to seriously
No.
stamp out any accusations
Even
of
as an
cheating.
esport, right? Not as an esport. They've passed this so
Which
many
is silly
times from,
because
like,
real sports love being allegations of cheating. Like I've seen sports news, and if you're not cheating, you're not in a proper sport.
Yeah. Or there's not been accusations that people have been paid money to throw matches, as has happened in the StarCraft esports all the time. Constantly that scandal happens that people are paid money to throw matches.
I have even heard that sometimes wrestling matches have been predetermined.
No.
wow.
Lies and slander.
All right then.
No, but the interesting thing I quite like about it, and this is kind of why I quite support the game. It's the first Ubisoft game where they went, oh, we listen to you and patch things according to player feedback. Like they are still rebalancing it to make it better. They're still like listening to they are always changing stuff to make it like balanced and good and work, and they're optimizing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Which makes me feel good about whatever it is, that Tom Clancy Wild thing that's coming out at the end of this year. The one that
Wild
looked quite good at
Ones.
E3.
I want to point out though, I think the devs are different though.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
They have a stealthy Brazilian woman who goes around and stabs people, and they have a Brazilian man who has a crossbow.
I think I've seen some footage with him, actually, by coincidence today.
Played it before. And in other news, another gaming news as well, the GTA 5 stunt creator has been released finally. You can use all the tools. It's okay.
It's okay.
They snap together. You can turn on no clip. It's a bit fiddly, but
Ooh, no. Clip.
Well, a very good board game has come out and said they're
Ooh.
doing a VR version of their board game, and all of the images of it look like you're standing in a nice forest, and then your card game just comes up on a wall in front of you, and you play your game.
Oh.
It's like,
okay.
This sounds pointless.
No.
what's the point
I've
of
seen
that?
about 3 games on Steam. 3 games on Steam that do stuff like that. And like I'm seeing this a lot with VR games now, where people are going, "Let's just do this normal thing, but in VR, and not do anything
Yeah.
interesting in VR."
And
Yeah,
it's like,
I've really been keeping an eye out for the VR games actually trying new stuff.
Now, as since Tabletop Sim has VR,
Yeah.
and it has a really good moving and manipulation tool, I just like going in Tabletop Sim, shrinking myself down to the size of a playing piece, and then awkwardly trying to pick up a playing piece when I'm the size of a playing piece. And then wander around the board doing a little dance.
Can you
Sounds
do that
like you
while
could
other
do
players
good-
stand around and try and smash you with their mighty hands?
Yes.
Ooh,
That sounds very,
fun.
very
I would
fun.
totally
If
play
you-
Mat
you-
Squishing Simulator 2016.
You can play VR and non-VR at the same time, so you can have non-VR people and VR people, and it shows the track, the controllers and everything.
Home Improvisation has the same system, where one person can actually be building furniture in VR and other people can just be on the computer messing around with the room and screwing with them.
They've got that. There's another one as well, Retro Arcade Neon, which is kind of like the pool one, except it's like an arcade that has bowling and a bunch of like, you know, those kind of arcade shooters and a little cinema where you can put YouTube and shit videos up on. It looks interesting. Actually, that's another multiplayer game as well. So, you get there's some. It's got bad reviews. Strange, I haven't tried it yet, but it's there's a lot of weird VR stuff coming out now where devs, just.
Have we got to the Outrage yet, by the way? Did we ever even get to the Outrage?
This section contains spoilers for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. If you have not yet seen Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and care, I mean, if you don't care, just fuck off. If you haven't seen it and want to see it, then go away, because we're going to go into full spoiler territory.
Actually, just before, I will say, if you have tickets for the play, don't read the script, because I think it's better to watch it live. So if you perhaps wanted that opinion before we say goodbye to you as to do you read the book now or do you go and see it live, I would say there is no point in reading the book ahead of time. Just go and see it straight in the play if you already have tickets and that's what you want to go and do. Now, from now on, nothing but spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Wow.
You can fuck off now.
Harry Potter.
We sat through your Batman shite. You have to sit through this.
You brought it up. Fuck you.
To put this in perspective, I read the book because I can't be fucked to go see a 5-hour-long play. And these other two have fucked off and gone to see a 5-hour-long play.
It's two 2.5-hour-long plays.
And I didn't.
No, it's not, because those two parts are not standalone in any way.
This is true.
You can watch a Harry Potter film and probably enjoy it, and you'll miss some bits, but this, if you watch that second one before you watch the first one, you won't have a Scooby.
Yeah.
I think you could theoretically... No, okay, fine. No. You can.
Not even slightly.
Yeah.
So, right, one of us has got to do a basic rundown of the plot. Shall I do it? Because I'm really angry and I'm really sad. And
okay, but if we disagree too much, we get to do a separate one afterwards.
Yes.
Are we going to do sort of general opinions before we do the breakdown, or do you just want to go straight for the breakdown?
I want to go through the breakdown because I want people to hear the plot. Because I'm only going to do this from the plot point of view. Like, the only thing that got me through reading that book was anytime they gave a stage direction, like his head inflates massively large. I was like, how the fuck do they do that? Like, how the fuck did they do that in a play was the only thing I cared about.
The staging is really good.
Yeah, I assume it would
be.
Good. It's if
the
it's
choreography
as it sounds,
is very good. Yeah,
that seems like it would be really good.
Really
However,
clever use of trapdoors.
However, I have only got the plot. Now, a lot of people are complaining like, oh, it's not a real novel. Like, I read scripts all the fucking time. I live for reading scripts. That's my thing. If I'm ever reading anything, it's likely a script, so I know what makes a good script. Incidentally, on Edgar Wright's website, he has scripts for all 3 Cornetto trilogy films, and they've sort of got little extra bits and pictures, and they're all done up really nicely. They're really good places to start, as they've got pictures and stuff. So let's give a breakdown of... That it's sort of just a comic, yeah, but it doesn't have like it has like little fix on the side, screen things for the side and stuff. It looks it's a really nice way of reading a script. Let's start from the beginning. Actually, we can't start from the beginning. We have to start
the Harry Potter book. It starts immediately at the end of the epilogue.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And that is what threw me so fucking far, because as soon as this starts, a character vanishes and is never spoken of.
Yes, Teddy Lupin.
Teddy Lupin is the character that they set up. There was a lot of characters missing, but Teddy Lupin is the one that basically they'd set up that Harry was a big father figure to, because he lost both of his parents in the Battle of Hogwarts. And this is a play about fatherhood, and he's not even mentioned.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because Harry Potter's a shit father. Harry Potter's the shittest father, in many ways.
The number of characters who should have been in this and weren't is huge, especially considering the whole lot of characters who should not have been in this, like Snape and Myrtle. And you're like, hang on, how the hell did Neville Longbottom, who gets mentioned like 30 times in the play, not get cast? Like, how did that not happen?
So you know that epilogue that everyone hates at the end of Harry Potter Book 7? Well, this is the continuation from that epilogue where they're all a bit grown up and it follows their kids, sort of.
Except they curiously changed some of the lines around from the epilogue, which is really odd.
Yeah, they've changed lines, and of course, characters have completely fucked up, which is my favourite part about it. But all the characters have also changed, because everyone is completely different. They set up like, hey, this is a loving, caring unit, and then, no. That's not a thing. So, basically, Albus Severus Potter, who is Harry Potter's son, he has an older son that apparently he just gets along with. It's really not mentioned. Their relationship...
James. He's
Not
just
mentioned.
good at stuff.
James is good stuff. His daughter Lily is younger. I assume they get on well. But Albus Severus
And
is
we
the one that he has
all
sort
get
of
to
thing
find
of.
out that Ginny has no control over naming her kids.
Yep, not a single word. It's like, what's his face? It's like Nick Clegg's kids are called. They're all got fucking something names because his wife's from somewhere. I can't fucking remember.
I call it George. No, it's called Calling Your Album.
Who the fuck's George? Yeah, I'll name it after. Maybe George is one of James's middle name. James George Potter. That works.
Can we give her Alfred as a middle
Ginny,
name? No.
Ginny in that play just does nothing. She's just wife. She's just wife. That's the thing that she fits in is wife. So it's about the kids. So Albus Severus Potter, who in the script is always referred to as Albus and is the most confusing fucking thing in the world as a Harry Potter fan. Just keep reading Albus and going, not Dumbledore, the other one.
It's easier on stage because he looks nothing like Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah, that would make it easier. But this is again the problem of the published version. He meets up with Draco Malfoy's son Scorpius.
Yep.
Which is a stupid name. On the Hogwarts Express.
And Scorpius then goes over to Panau and liberates them with loads of explosions.
Look, if your father's called Draco and his father's called Lucius, it kind of makes sense that there'd be a really pretentious Latin-y name.
But is his father Draco? Because his whole thing is he could be Voldemort's son. That's like his thing. He's like, that's the thing. That's the bully tactic that for his thing is that people think he could be Voldemort's son.
Hang on, wait, no. Because what we have to establish is, does Voldemort have a penis?
Okay,
He doesn't have a
we'll
nose.
get to this. We'll get to this later on because this surprisingly comes up in this play, which is fan fiction up the arse. But we'll get there.
So I have to agree.
Yeah.
The only way I made it through this was doing my normal Doctor Who rules, which is none of this is canon,
But
some of this is fun.
Yeah, I don't get that when I'm reading a book written by J.K. Rowling about Harry Potter. I feel like I'm there going, I have to accept this. This is not a play.
I
Can't
don't
distance
quite.
myself.
Well, it's fine
I
because
don't
75% of it takes place in aborted timelines anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my god, oh my god. Right, no, let me just get through this because I want to
Can
get
I
through
ask
it. I'm
something
in
quick?
Act 1, Scene 1 right now.
Can I ask something
It's got
quickly
4
before we
fucking
go on?
acts.
Yes, Matt, ask things.
Why was the book released as a script rather than just rewriting it to be a book?
That would take longer.
Because it's really shit and there's no point putting effort into that. And in
Yeah.
fact, this is the first release of it. It's being released later on because this is the rehearsal script. When they've actually got their finalised thing, because, you know, the first few weeks they'll sort things out, they're actually releasing that as a separate script. So, unless they kill 98% of that book, I don't see myself buying that second version, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, I watched
Anyway.
the almost final version, and I doubt that anything has changed.
Yeah. So Scorpius and Albus become bestest of friends. They go to their sewing ceremony. Draco's son gets flung into Slytherin, and Harry Potter's son gets put into Slytherin. And then we have he's not good with brooms. It just cuts to him being not good with brooms. That's the whole thing. He's not good with brooms. And then it's 4 years later.
He's also not good at anything else.
Yeah.
He's just shit.
It's basically shown off that he's not great, and then it's 4 years later, right? So immediately, the Harry Potter son gets put in Slytherin, intrigue, fucks off. There's no point to it. A really interesting play... Shut the fuck up, Matt! A really interesting play would be going, here's Harry Potter's son, but he's put in Slytherin, so now let's see Hogwarts from the Slytherin point of view, and retell the Year 1 story, but from the Slytherin point of view. And it's further on and things have changed. So there's drama and intrigue, and then is this Voldemort's son? That's enough to set up a villain. That's enough to destroy their friendship. There's a really interesting story there, and it's 4 seconds of screen time before we go on to the rest of it, because then it's 4 years later. They're in their 4th year. It sort of jumps between their years. Some stuff happens that's really fucking unimportant.
Yeah.
Literally, right, in one scene, because it even describes it as time jumps around erratically here. Yeah, it's not the only fucking point in the book with that happens. But it just jumps through in this one scene 4 years. So then he's a year 4, and he's best friends with Scorpius. My favourite bit of the whole thing is then Rose, who is Hermione and comedy relief. I can't remember his name now.
Ron.
Weasley's. He is nothing but comic relief. Killed his character off completely. He's just
No,
a
that's
joker.
good. He was shit as a main character. He works brilliantly as an odd uncle.
Yeah, I have to admit,
On stage,
for
he's
me,
fantastic.
For me,
On stage,
Ron
he's
Weasley
brilliant.
was the only character I believed out of the original 3.
Do you know
I
why?
liked him.
Because
I
his
liked him.
joke seemed like the only thing JK actually fucking wrote in that book.
I will
That's
also totally agree
literally
with
it.
that. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
this as a comedy piece with some good special effects. There is
And awful
the
fanfiction plot.
plotting is just awful and has so much potential.
I'm going to say,
as
like,
well.
I'd say, like, from the perspective of, like, having watched the crowd in the previews watching it, it does distinctly feel like it was written for the fans. In the preview, it's nothing but fans. And people
Yep.
were roaring with laughter, like, every other line.
Yep.
It felt like it was written to be funny for the fans.
Oh my god, it is
not
written
for
only
general
for fans,
consumption.
and that is the absolute worst thing about it.
Can
Right,
I-
if you don't have
Wait.
a PhD in Goblet of Fire, you will not understand this.
Can I wait? Okay, I've heard. You say about, you know, a fucking hero prodigy having a son who shitted everything and is completely up to the thing.
Yeah.
I've heard that like 5 times before in other stories.
Yeah, I know. Well, don't worry, because we're going to
trope.
gloss over that massively. So,
thought it was an Adam
it
Sandler
starts
film.
with the 4th year. Starts in their 4th years where the actual story starts. And he's a grumpy arsehole, and Albus, his son, is a grumpy arsehole because his dad, he's failing his dad, he doesn't like him, but he really wants to impress his dad. So he decides to go back in time to save Cedric Diggory's life, because Cedric Diggory was just killed as the spare, so can be happily removed from time and keep everything happy and normal. And then he'll, you know, then once he's saved Cedric Diggory, his dad will like him again.
Also, can I mention at this point, they introduce a rule which I decide is canon before breaking it immediately, which is they say there's a rule that you can't go back in time more than 5 hours, because that
More than 1 hour?
solves... No, they said
That's
5.
legit- I thought it was 1 hour was the...
Well,
no, the
it
original
must have...
time turner.
No, because they go
was
back
1
more
hour.
than 1 hours in... They do go back 3 hours in the third book.
Then 5 hours it is. I swear it
it's-
said 1 hour in the script. but
Okay,
yeah.
in my version, which was slightly later then, they said you can't go back beyond 5 hours. And I was like, wow, that is a great rule. It fixes so many problems. But this time turner can go back fucking years. I
There's
was
another
like,
time turner.
okay.
They just have it. They just have this time turner.
No, they don't just have the time turner. This time turner was confiscated off a Death Eater, who mysteriously, despite having had the time turner all this time, didn't manage to change time in any favourable way. And yet, when you give it to people who are trying to use it with good, they fuck it all up in
John,
5 minutes
John,
by
but
accident.
what if,
What
John,
the fuck was the
Alright,
Death
what if,
Eater
John,
doing
the
with
Death
it?
Eater...
You're gonna
How
have
does
to
the
stop.
Death Eater not do anything with it?
But John, what if the Death Eater put Harry's son in Slytherin? Ooh.
No, because that literally that plot point never resolved. It's just in Slytherin because fuck it. One of that just my least favorite things. So, so Harry's got his son's fucked off. His son finds out that there's this time turner that Harry, who works for the Ministry, Hermione is Minister for Magic or whatever. They run the shop. Harry, they find this thing. He overhears it and goes, "I'm going to save Cedric Diggory." They break all the rules because time travel in the Harry Potter universe has been established as you can go back, but everything's already happened. Like you don't ever change anything. Like, because everything, like, when they have the Buckbeak thing, they think Buckbeak's been killed, but actually it was saved. So, when you go back, you're actually going back from a point where you've already time traveled back. So, time,
you're
you
completing
can
the
never
circle.
change anything. Yeah, you can never
This
change
is-
anything with time travel.
This
now,
is-
this play has 3 different types of time travel effects in it. 3! And they're all shit. And it's awful. So
Speaking of time travel effects, by the way, can we also just say that if you watch the stage version, there's a really beautiful wibbly lighting thing that happens on stage to indicate time travel is happening, and it's gorgeous. It's genuinely
it's
spectacular.
just projection mapping.
It's really nice, though, isn't it?
It is nice, but it's just projection mapping.
Yeah. They had to do something because if you were
I
like me, this was
personally-
the point where I first put the book down. Let's just go for the plot because I've only got half an hour left and I'm angry.
I was about to say, you've slightly overlooked the character who introduces the time turner, who becomes important later on.
Fuck it, we'll introduce her when it's important.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because the
her
second
name's Delphi.
the second
and she's
she was
Voldemort's daughter.
the second she
Spoiler
came
warning.
on. Yeah.
But, okay, she's the only
Did
clever bit
anyone
because she's
not
set up
know
as a
that
really
she was
obvious love
Voldemort's dawning
interest.
after the first quarter?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because she doesn't interact with any other character apart from Albus and Scorpius.
Which makes
That's
it
it,
sound
the only
like
one she
JK
can.
setting up a really obvious romance, so it's actually quite cleverly introduced, because that's a really nice bit of misdirection, that you just assume, oh, she's the love interest for Albus, whatever.
Oh my
And
god,
then
I did not get that from the script. From
You
directly
really
reading
do it from the
script.
staging.
Okay.
From the staging you get it like
you
crazy.
need the acting there. From the script, I went, oh, then what? There is something wrong with her. I mean, I didn't know it's Voldemort's daughter because having Scorpius be Voldemort's son by rumors, and then her being actually Voldemort's daughter by a completely different thing. Because Scorpius is rumored to be Voldemort's daughter because Voldemort's son. Because Draco hid him away, first of all, but that's because his wife was ill. She is just Voldemort's daughter, and it's an entirely separate thing. It's completely misdirection, red herring, which is awful. and horrible.
If you watch the staging, like she's set up as like a manic pixie flirty dream girl, and
Yeah.
it's real, and you
But
just
as soon
think, oh,
as she
she's just going to be
didn't
the
go
love
back in
interest,
time
whatever.
but as soon as she didn't go back in time with them, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's totally Voldemort's daughter. Like,
Oh, I didn't know Voldemort. I just went. There's the bad guy
Yeah.
because she's not attracted to anyone, and she's the one that sort of convinced them to go back in
But
time.
it was also like let's throw this blanket on some love potion for no reason. It was like, well, that's relevant.
Yeah.
Later on, they're going to put
that'll
something
be-
on there to go back. And then later on, it was like, oh, we need to send the message back. It's like, they're going to put it on that blanket and stuff. Incidentally, how much does J.K. Rowling troll you in this play? Sort of with the
So much.
flashbacks. It's like let's have Aunt Petunia take me to the graveyard. And everyone's there going... But that never fucking happened. And then Harry Potter turns around and goes, yeah, but that never fucking happened. And you're like, why the fuck did you decide to do it then?
There are so many dream sequences in this thing, and time travel and alternate universes. It is a clusterfuck of fan fiction. But let's get started. I'm still in the fucking first half of the first play. So
Yep.
they decide to break into the Ministry to steal this thing because Hermione's kept it in a bookshelf, which they kind of know. So they got Polyjuice Potion. It's supposed to take a month to brew. In the books, takes a month to brew. Yeah, they pull it out their ass. Polyjuice Potion. They become Harry. And reading Harry slash not Harry slash Albus. Harry slash Scorpius and Albus slash whatever the fuck is just the most confusing thing in the script. I'm like, hang on. I mean, okay, that's the way around. They break into Hermione's thing. Books try to eat them or something. I don't
Albus
know.
It's
gets to
beautifully
snog
staged.
his aunt.
He does snog his aunt, which is probably his first kiss, knowing how much of a depressing fuckhead he is.
Yeah,
He
probably.
snogs Hermione, who's his aunt, when he's in Polyjuice Ron mode. And I don't know how they got the... As soon as she had, like, the Polyjuice Potion and all their hairs lined up, you'd go, hang on, something's wrong with this bird. But no, they kind of gloss over all of that stuff. So they get the time turner because there's these books, and it's just a really in-your-face riddle that doesn't work at all in the script. They get the thing, they're like, we've got a time turner. That's the end of Act 1. Act 2 starts, and they're on the train. Is that where Act 2 starts? Is that when they're on the train, or they jump off the train?
Oh, that was
before
earlier or
Oh,
something.
no,
yeah,
the train's
I
much
totally
earlier.
Forgot. That's when they go and meet
Yeah.
Delphi for the first time. That's when they reveal that lovely little old lady who pushes around the thing is actually a fucking Terminator.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
It kind of works. It's okay. Even on stage, that's really odd.
Yeah,
It's
she
really
like
weird.
blows like spikes out of her fingers and lobs Punky
Yeah.
pasties and they explode like grenades and
It's
shit.
really well
And
done.
they have a fight
but it's
on top of the
really
train.
awfully just written. Just
And she's
There's
like, no
a
one's
beautiful
ever...
moment where she kind of says, I've always kept everyone on this
Yeah.
train. Sirius and the twins tried to escape and I stopped them. And then immediately Albus and Scorpius say, hey, should we try jumping off the train? And I was like, what
Which
the
we're on
fuck
the
did
roof
Sirius try and do? Like,
what's
what
even
did he
worse-
try and do other than jump off the train?
What's
Yeah.
even worse, right? Is like in the 7th book, don't they? Like, I remember them just getting off the train at some point. Like that.
no, they
they've
never
done
got
this
on the
before.
train on the 7th book.
See, but the Dementors all came on and off, and fuck, Jesus
is true.
Christ on a bike. She becomes some sort of fucking slicey thing, like terrifying, which like mutates into like a fucking wraith or some shit, and then they just jump off. But that's before. Then they've got a time travel thing, so they go back and they go like, oh, we're gonna stop Cedric Diggory by going to the first one where he fought the dragon because you need the PhD in Goblet of Fire. And we're going to just take his wand away. So they take his wand away, and then they go back to... Because, this time turn is different. It doesn't just go back 5 hours. It can go back as far as you want it to. But it only lasts for 5 minutes. So it's like it goes all the way back, but it only lasts for 5 minutes. Ooh.
Also, from a staging point of view, I was annoyed people didn't have Potter Stinks badges.
What, just in the actual... on
When
the
they
thing, yeah.
when they went back to Goblet of Fire, the fact that there wasn't Potter Stinks badges, and because the whole thing is about sort of the son thinks that Harry was this wonderful person and that everyone loved him, to go back and see everyone with Potter Stinks badges would be a really important emotional point to him. But
Yeah. I'd like to point out
that's
the
not
biggest
what this
fucking plot
movie's
hole in the
about.
whole thing has already happened, which is that Harry's scar is hurting him again.
oh yes, that's that.
Harry's scar, and he can speak Parcel Tongue, which he could do because he had Voldemort inside him, which he doesn't have anymore.
Yeah.
But for some reason he could just do, because fuck it. Plot.
which means that
He's got a bit
Voldemort
of
should still
leftover
be alive,
Voldemort.
right? Like,
yeah.
Hang on.
Leftover
Wait.
Voldemort.
Does he notice this and just sort of shrug it off?
Well, no, he goes.
A
Well,
little
that's
bit.
weird. I thought this was a thing. It's just sort of like pushed under thing. It's just to add Harry Scar equals tension. That's all it really adds.
Well, actually, in all fairness, they do in all fairness drag him out on like into the Ministry of Magic in
Yes.
front of a crowd of reporters and just say, "Just so you know, his scar's hurting again. We don't know
Yeah.
what it means,
Yeah,
but we thought we'd
they
tell
totally
the press
do
that.
right now because
So they-
that's not going to cause mass panic."
They go back and they get Cedric. They stop Cedric from this thing, but he's still won or something, and nothing has changed except one thing. And if you go back in time and change something massively and only change one thing, I immediately hate your time travel. Now Ron and Hermione hate each other. That's literally, they're not married. That's like
thing is
if-
now
Oh, it's worse than
Gryffindor
that.
now.
It's worse than that.
Why is it
Because
worse?
if Hermione doesn't get snogged or wedded or whatever by Ron, then she becomes a bitter shrew
Oh, yeah.
who's not professionally successful.
like
Because Ron was the
two.
key to her success.
Also, apparently becomes
which
a
was
defense
really
against
annoying.
becomes a defense against the dark arts teacher, despite it categorically being said that is the only subject in which she doesn't get an outstanding. That is the only
Yep.
subject she's not good in, and apparently that's the one she's a teacher in. It was like,
yeah.
did
But
you guys
only-
not
if
even
only
read
she'd
the
had
books?
sex with Ron, then she'd be successful professionally.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, it's not great. So basically, they've not changed anything. But and at this point, Harry is fucking 1984 in the shit out of his son. Like he goes up to Professor McGonagall.
Oh, yeah.
who, like he fucking tortured a bitch for Professor McGonagall, right? That's the level of love Harry has for him. And he just goes up to Professor McGonagall, is like, yeah, this is the Marauders map. Spy on my son at all times, and if he's anywhere near Scorpio, fuck him off. Because there's like 16 prophecies in this thing, but he meets Bane in the forest, and Bane's like, oh, the moon is weird. And he's like, oh, that means that my son's in danger, so
Yeah.
he can't hang out with Scorpius anymore.
That scene does
This-
not work any better on stage, by the way. It literally
Yeah.
goes from Harry Potter being concerned parent to overbearing parent to terrible parent to fuck the Geneva Right on Human Conventions in about 30 seconds.
Okay, so
I'm just thinking, what the fuck is happening? I was
This-
literally
Yeah.
thought, as a plot point that something's like wrong. I was literally thinking, like, is Voldemort like possessing Harry right now or something? I was literally thinking,
Yeah.
is this a plot point that Harry's acting so ridiculous? It must be a plot point that something's wrong with him. No, he's just a dick.
yeah, that was the moment where I kind of went, there's no way this is canon. Because for me, the most important thing about Harry Potter is about the fact that it's not what you're born, but what you grow to be. And the whole thing is about, Harry Potter is the hero because he saves Draco even when Draco's a Death Eater and trying to kill him. And Dumbledore
Harry
does that.
I want to point
And
this
then
out.
for Harry Potter
does
to suddenly
explicitly
go-
he explicitly states the reason he's a bad dad is because he didn't have one. That's a line from the script. He goes, "Oh, I never had a father, so I don't know how to do this." And there's like Teddy's lost in London for the last 5 years. He's gone feral. Like, where's he gone?
He just sleeps in a box under a bridge somewhere. Harry Potter doesn't give a shit. Fuck Teddy.
Yeah. So then,
He's had,
he's
a fair number of surrogate fathers who didn't do too bad.
Yeah, that's the
a
thing,
job.
right? Because the rest of this fucking play is wanking off Snape and Dumbledore. Like,
Yeah.
his kid is named after two father figures that he had, and he's there going, I never had a dad. You fucking did, you greedy bastard!
And we've
Yeah,
also
2 of them.
and we've not included Sirius there.
3.
Or,
It's Sirius Black, yeah.
Or Mr. Weasley.
And kind of Remus. Kind of Remus
Yeah.
in the third
Oh,
book.
and kind of
yeah.
Remus.
Remus as well.
So
Yeah, so
other
he's got like
than
a
the
consistent...
5 surrogate fathers.
And the 2 that he named his son
Arguably, Ron's
after.
dad kind of fills the role as well a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So
That
there's
was
5.
that was a bit when the Roman what have the Romans ever done for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of the 6 surrogate fathers who all ended up leaving me.
Right, so then, Cedric, that's not changed enough, so they decide to go back in time again. They go back, and instead, and this is the best bit, instead of fucking up Cedric in the first task, they try and fuck him up in the second task, and they want to embarrass him, not just stop him, so they make his head inflate, and then he floats, and everyone laughs at him, right? Then they go back to the real world, only Scorpius goes back, not Albus. Albus has vanished. And because this is the second time travel rule they break. Are you the same person when you travel, or are you taking the body of the person who was there? Because the first one is like you're the same person, and the second one was you're taking the body of the person who's there. So in this one, it's like fucking the darkest timeline. Voldemort.
It's Voldemort's
rules.
day, Dan. It's
Oh my God.
Voldemort's day.
That is the worst part of this fucking thing because they're all
Happy
just going.
Voldemort day, everybody.
Right, it's like Voldemort's like taking he won. Do you know why? Because Cedric Diggory's embarrassed, so he turned to the dark side and killed Neville. Literally, he turns to the because he got a bit embarrassed one day. He becomes a Death Eater. Like fuck that guy. I don't want to save him anymore. This play made me happy. Cedric Diggory died.
Maybe he was a
the
dick.
point.
We don't know.
Like,
Maybe
literally,
he was a dick all along.
he was one bad day away from becoming a Death Eater. Fuck that guy. Seriously. Right, that's just the worst thing. So, like, it's everybody, all these people, like, they're torturing...
Kill the spare before he kills us all.
I know, right?
Voldemort's the biggest hero of them all.
They're torturing muggles and shit in the basement. It's like, it's a mudblood. Sorry, they're in the basement. They're like, it's the worst thing in the world, right? And they're all calling him Voldemort. I'm like, he's the most powerful wizard. You all fear him. You all call him you-know-who because he's so powerful. Now he's at his absolute maximum powerful, and you're going around with banners saying Happy Voldemort Day.
Also, hang
What
on, I
the
need to stop you
fuck?
here. There's something very important we need to discuss here, which comes up only in the stage
That
play.
wasn't nice.
J.K. Rowling has decided she doesn't like how Voldemort is pronounced anymore, and she's changed it to Voldemort, which everyone in the play consistently says, and no one says Voldemort. It's
What?
now
It was
Voldemort.
always Voldemort.
What the
Well,
fuck?
it wasn't in the films, and J.K. got to sign off on all of them.
It's Voldemort. It's always been Voldemort. Also, in that,
No,
they
in the
fucked me
films
off.
it's not.
They
It's not
really fucked
Voldemort
me
in
off.
all the films.
Because when they get there, he's met
Who
by
watches the
Scorpius.
films?
Met by Scorpius is met by Umbridge,
The
and she's like full on
sorry,
evil.
can I just say the remake of The Dark Mark is very nice in the stage show. I liked that.
Yeah, well,
that was good
in
design.
the book, it was the same. In the book, they never mentioned it. Right, Umbridge is full on evil because she's like running Hogwarts
What
or
do you
some
mean
shit, but she
is
was
now
never full on
full
She
evil.
on
always
evil?
was, really.
No,
was totally full on
She
evil.
was anti-Death Eater. She was always anti-Death Eater, but she was pro the
Except
Ministry.
in book 7. When she's...
Well, fuck book 7. I mean, really, I don't like book 7 very much.
It doesn't mean you just get to rule it out of canon.
Book 7 is
we're doing that
definitely
with this,
in.
aren't we?
Book 7 very
Nothing's
much
canon
is
in
in
this.
canon. This is not.
But remember, it's book 7 happened because of the stuff that fucked up. That stuff would like never have happened if they had gone back in 4 and changed everything. Like, so Voldemort was already in power. She probably would have tried to keep fighting that. Like, it just felt really weird that she was like, oh, she's generic evil lady.
No,
Or just...
I mean, she is pretty evil in general. Like,
she's
I mean,
pretty evil.
She steals Mad-Eye's eye and starts screening for purebloods in book 7. So she's pretty much already on the Death Eater lineup.
I've only read book 7 once, and I've read all the other ones a lot. Book 7's a nice tie-up, but it's like, it's also the worst film. Oh my god. That
yeah,
part one of
I
that film is
reread
so
7
awful.
before watching the play to make sure that I was up to date on things. So
Yeah.
I would have forgotten that as well. But yes, Umbridge was already a really
I've got
nasty bit of stuff.
18 minutes left. I've got to get through this thing.
Yes.
So,
Okay, it's Voldemort Day, yeah.
Scorpius is now stuck in the evil, everything's evil world. He goes to Professor Snape. He's like, oh, you used to wake yourself up over Lily. Oh. And so he's like, I trust you. Come to our secret base. And like Hermione's like all Mad Max. The book describes her as something like looking every bit the bitch she's supposed to be.
What?
It's like I don't have time to go find
She's
the
just dressed in a bit of just normally with a leather strap or something.
Alright, from the book, I thought she was fucking Mad Maxed up. She had like
No,
fucking
she's just
spike
like in
helmet
robes. I
and
think
shit.
she's like wearing a belt.
Right,
That's
this
the
is the
bit
part,
she is.
right?
She's wearing a belt.
This is the part where Snape just fucks off. He's like laughing and joking. He's making crack wise, but like in the book, he reads like a totally different character. And this is a world where for the last 19 years he's been under Voldemort's rule. Like you think that would make him a bit more bitter. Yeah. And he just felt like a really shitty. Like everything feels really just shitty. Maybe he really was evil all over. That's what kind of made me
He
feel
was a
about
bit
him.
evil all along.
He was a bit
dick.
evil, and now he's just sort of enjoying it. But yeah, then they have the whole everybody dies because we've gone back in time and it doesn't fucking matter scene, and then they undo that by going back and... Right, they do this in the wrong fucking order. They stop the first thing that they did, because they go back and they're like, okay, we're going to stop embarrassing, we're going to disarm ourselves, which again is breaking that rule that the third one set up. They stop themselves in the first thing. They go to the first time they went back, the first tournament, and stop themselves, and then they go to the second one. You don't do it in that order. When you're trying to undo things, you do it in the reverse order. Like, I know, like, I don't know how they went. We've done that thing, and then, because why did you go back to that second one? That never would have happened. You created paradoxes. That has just fucked you up even more. But the book's like, nah, everything's fine. And so, everything's fine. And from that point on, everything's fine. And they're like, well, we've done it. We're done.
I
Everything's
can't
fine.
remember. Did they actually go back and fix the underwater one as well? I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
they
they
do
only
that,
went
yeah.
back to the.
No, the book says they do the first one first, and then they do the underwater one. And so that's paradox of shit, but that's what fixes everything. And that's when I went, okay, that's time for the thing to end. And then it's like, all right, you still got like a third of this left. I'm like, what the fuck? Because that's like the point where you wrap that story up. No, because then they reveal that, oh, this lady's evil. And they're like, oh, Voldemort had a daughter. Which, just wrong. Everything about that concept is wrong, right? You've got an immortal guy, like Voldemort's an immortal wizard who is the most evil, self-centered. Like Harry Potter's moral is work as a team. His thing is like, I don't give a shit about anyone. Like, here's an immortal wizard. A hair would be literally the worst thing for him to get. Like someone with his power, but like that never.
He's
you
also
never
very
want
pro being bald.
Yeah, he's also very pro being bald, and women look awful bald. That's not a real thing; they look amazing bald. But it's just
true.
Yeah, he's immortal, so he doesn't need a hair. And if he had a hair, that would think let's put it this way: if Voldemort had to abort a child, he'd abort a child. He'd fired the cadaver of the shit out of that bitch. Like that's I don't understand how this child existed. It just feels like fan fiction bullshit. And like just the idea of and as Matt was saying before he fell asleep earlier. Voldemort must therefore have some form of penis, but not a nose.
Yes.
But I have to say, for me, like, I hated the fact that the son of Potter was the good guy, and the son of Voldemort, daughter of Voldemort was the bad guy. I'm like, but the whole point of Harry Potter is that you're not who your parents are, and it's not about blood.
Yeah. Choices
it's
we
like,
make.
This is such a whole thing is just sort of, hey, isn't everyone who their lineage is? And it was like, no, that is exactly the opposite message of Harry Potter.
Scorpius managed to do that though, because Scorpius is completely different to his parents and kind of does.
No,
kind of
because his
breaks
mum's
away.
lovely. His mum's lovely, and his dad's lovely after he's had him. So these comes from lovely people. But now, right? Let's finish this thing off. Right.
Who's his mum? Who's his mum?
No one we know.
A story or someone. Just
We don't
she's
care.
mentioned She's lovely.
She's never on stage and she dies.
in that fast flip through between all the years, which just pisses Drake off,
Yeah.
which makes Draco into antagonist again.
We don't know when she dies off screen. It's fine.
Okay, great, fucking great writing.
Yeah,
lady.
it's
Fuck.
yeah.
Not only
So,
does
right,
she
at some
die,
point-
every
at some
time they
point-
change time, they have to recheck that she's definitely dead. And at no
Basically,
point
all
does
we
she
need-
come
basically
back.
just.
That's like the
Voldemort
spinning
pulled
top.
a daughter out of his arse, and Draco pulled a son out of his arse. Everyone can just pull children out of their arse if they need to. All right.
Yeah. Right, so we at some point we have a scene where Harry talks to Dumbledore's painting. He has a few of them, but there's one where he says, "I loved you, Dumbledore," and that's another close the book, put it down. All right, bring myself back together. What the fuck? Like there's basically Harry's just going, "You were never there for me," like he's having an argument with his dad.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh, I don't have a father." It's just all that sort of shit just doesn't work. And then, right, she reveals herself as the bad guy. She takes
Again, a piece of stuff that I will take as canon is the comment
13
about
minutes.
the paintings not actually being real people.
Yeah, this just
that was
sort
a
of like-
really
that's all echoes
nice
and stuff.
sort of
Yeah.
line. Like those two lines I will take out, and everything else isn't canon.
yeah.
We've also
So-
entirely skipped over McGonagall, who's great in this whole thing.
No,
Yeah, she
I
doesn't
didn't.
get-
No, because she agrees to spy on them. I can't believe
She agrees
that
to
she
run and
did
then
that.
it's like,
Yeah, but then she does it in the most
half-attempts it.
half-assed way possible, where she deliberately
No,
doesn't.
she probably does it, and then it's like, actually, this is really creepy. I'll
I
stop.
can't even believe that she would say, "I'm honestly up to no good." Like that alone to activate the Marauders map is an impossible thing for McGonagall.
Solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Right, gotta get
Maggie
through this
Smith.
quickly. We have... Right, so then Baddie reveals herself like, haha, I'm the baddie, and I have to take you two back with me to the third challenge, where we're gonna kill Cedric Diggory ourselves or some shit, but she has to take them back because the prophecy said so. Where this prophecy comes from, that's another thing that's flown out of somebody's arse. She has a prophecy
Hall
that
of
she's just
Prophecies.
kept with
Hall
her.
of Prophecies. Probably.
Well, it's been destroyed when she was born. If she's Voldemort's
Yeah.
child, that would have put it after because she was born near the 6th book. But, Bellatrix died at the 7th, so she's sort of in the 6th book. So, Hall of Prophecies, it wouldn't have been Hall of Prophecies because that's the 5th book, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah,
I
There
don't
might
give a
have
shit.
been one that survived.
Basically,
or
yeah.
something.
No, fuck it, because I'm not accepting that. So they go back in time. They go to the mace thing. She goes, "Oh, bollocks to you!" Cedric does a thing, and he's all right. But then she goes, I'm going to go back further. So she goes back to the day that Harry Potter's parents are killed and for some reason, again, takes them with her. And then
and she also destroys the time turner at that point for literally no reason, even though she could just keep it and use it again if she needs to.
She destroys the time thing, right? So there's me going, right, so this magical artifact which brings you back 5 minutes, you could stop by destroying it? Because the previous ones never brought you back, you just had to wait out that extra time. But this one's like, it always brings you back through time, unless, of course, you just turn it off, like just destroy it. Like, you'd just be able to go like, oh yeah, Expelliarmus or some shit, and then that would just not work. But apparently no one had come around to think of that. So they're now trapped in 1981, which is the year when Harry Potter's parents got offed. And then they're like, how do we get back? How are we going to do this thing? Because, oh shit, no. Oh god, then you have the worst fucking bit of the book, which is just, when you just, at that point where you're like, whoever wrote this has never read the Harry Potter books in the details that I have.
Oh, yeah.
They go to Harry Potter's house. Yeah. And they go, oh, he's going to turn up. Voldemort's going to turn up, and she's going to be like, hey, Voldemort, let's see things. And you're there going, hang on. Right? Oh, there's a scene. Lily and James leave their house, right? They never did that!
Not only that, they can see the house.
Yeah,
the fuck secret keepers! Fuck secret keepers! Fuck secret keepers! Fuck it all! Everyone
house,
in the house.
You can't see without the secret keeper explicitly telling you in there. This one of the most established points in the Harry Potter book. They leave their house, which completely contradicts everything we've ever heard about them being annoyed that they're cooped up in the house. They shouldn't have been able to see it. The fucking, was it Fidelius charm or something?
Fidelius, but yes.
Fidelius, yes. I was close to fucking.
You were pretty close.
Latin for trust.
Yes, see, they got this thing, so they can see this house, they're like, oh, hanging outside
they
the house.
have hashtag keep the secret and not hashtag secret keepers, which also shows just how much they didn't know about this.
They clearly hadn't, nobody remembered that bit.
Don't draw attention to secret keepers, for fuck's sake. Change the hashtag.
We have to send a message back in time, so they got that scene early where a love potion falls onto a blanket. They're like, oh, what fights a love potion? And then Scorpius is fucking Rain Man, and the scene is like, oh, if we have this really fucking rare ingredient, we'll be able to like put it on the thing and like spell some words out, and then when he sees it, we can spell a message when the love potion hits it. And you go, wow, that's brilliant. Where are we going to get that? Well, Bathilda Bagshot lives here. Let's just steal it from her house.
Yeah.
Bathilda Bagshot is a historian! She's a historian! She wrote the fucking history book that they use. She didn't fucking do potions, and she didn't have the ingredient that's used to make invisibility cloaks, which is what that ingredient is. Like, if they've just gone, oh, we need some, like, snakeskin. Oh, where do we get snakeskin? That would have believed it. But when they're like, oh, we need this, like, fucking hyper-rarest fucking platinum-covered diamond magic bullshit in the world, and they go to the house like, oh, next door's a historian who, a fucking quote from the thing, is known for not locking her doors, and she's got literally the most expensive element in the wizarding world, just, like, fucking farting around there.
Can we also just mention for a second how the reason why Albus has this blanket is because Harry Potter decided, being such a good father, on one particular evening he was going to give one of his children an invisibility cloak, the other one magic fairy wings, and the other one an old mouldy blanket.
Yep.
Because Harry Potter's the shittest father.
Because the blanket meant more to him.
Marauder's map.
Yeah. But the blanket meant more to him, even though he only found out when Aunt Petunia died in between the movies and now. All the books in there, or movies in there, really. Right, so now they've sent a message back in time, and Harry's like, okay, we know where they are, because it's like Godric's Horror and the date. It's like, how do we get there? And Draco fucking Malfoy comes in the room and is like, I have a time turner!
Yeah.
I've just got a spare time machine, lads. Don't worry.
What? Right, and he's had it in the family forever. Like, you were sucking Voldemort off. Why the fuck did you give him that? Like, you give him that earlier on and go, hey, Voldemort, you can undo the Harry Potter thing. He would go, hey, I'm going to suck your dick. Like, it's just, you'd have Voldemort, like, you'd be like, oh, you're number two. You'd become Voldemort's fucking bearded Riker if you had done that. And apparently, no. Draco's dad just didn't want to give that to Voldemort, and he just pulls it out of his ass.
Question.
But not even that, right? It's a golden one. You can go back in time for as long as possible.
Okay, wait.
No,
With that logic, why
turner
why
that
at
Draco
no point did
has
Voldemort go?
is a recent one.
I thought they, in the script,
Both
they
of them are
established it
recent.
as like, we've had this in my family for ages, and I wanted to keep it just in case there was a second one.
No, he said that the first one was a prototype for that one in my version of the play.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying it was much better, but it was like 1% less shit than you think it was.
But it's literally, they pull out, they're like, oh, we have another method going back in time. At least he would have mentioned
totally
that during the whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. That's
So-
not any better on stage. That's still kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So by that logic, then Voldemort at any time in the films, technically, could have just, instead of faffing around doing all whatever the shit he was doing, could have went, oh hey, there's like 2 time turners that exist that I can just go back whenever.
Yeah.
Both of which were in the possession of either Death Eaters or former Death Eaters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
okay, so by the time that I
Fucking-
saw it, they had established that those were recent inventions. So
Not
Voldemort
super
could
recent,
not have had
though.
them.
Yeah, but the time travels and Death Eaters are still out there, so and the Death Eater had it.
Well, that is the other thing. Death Eaters did
But managed
have
to do a
them.
shitter job with it than 2 kids did without trying.
So yeah, basically it's a mess. It's a fucking mess. So then they all turn up there and they have a big fight. Like the girl comes there, she's like, I'm actually just going to tell him to not kill Harry Potter because Harry Potter was his weakness. And then Harry becomes Voldemort. They like transfigure him into Voldemort. And he's like, oh, I'm your dad. You should stop doing that thing. And then they have a massive battle with her, and she's a fucking Superman, but they beat her. And then they go back, and everything's fine.
Also,
and
the
then they
fact
hug.
that they have to force... He's like, the clue is going to be when she steps into the light, and no one said, that's a stupid idea. And then they have
Yep.
a whole scene where he's like, come and sit into the light, which is literally just turns into a pantomime. At which point you're just there going,
It's ridiculous
it's
on stage.
behind
It's
you!
stupid.
Ah.
Also, the fact just on stage, like I felt sorry for her because like she's basically what she's like 17 years old or something.
She's 20.
Like,
she's described
no,
in the
she's-
play as being
she's
20-something.
She's
20 or
20-something
so. So
and
if
has
she
a...
was 17,
but
she
even
would
if
have been
she
born
has-
2 years after
Even
Bellatrix
if she has some
Lestrange
form
was
of
dead.
strong genetic affinity for magic, she's going up against about 8 wizards with decades more experience than her, many of whom are very, very powerful. Like, it feels like they just bully her at the end. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's a fair fight. And she's defeated by being shot by all of them at the same time.
Oh, like in the book and in the script, it's like it's a massive struggle and they only just overpower her, sort of thing.
No, they basically all step out and shoot her at the same time,
Yeah.
and then she's dead. It feels like, oh god, that just wasn't fair. She never stood a bloody chance.
Yeah,
You feel
and
like
then-
Hermione would have her on her own.
And then basically that's it. They wrap up the story. That's 4 times they've traveled back in time with 4 different rules. Oh, Harry has to watch his parents die again somehow, even though the charm thing's still there.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I watched my parents die and stuff, and then that's sort of. Then they're on a field at Diggory's grave, and it's like, oh yeah, he was nice, wasn't he? I never knew. Oh, some like a kid from Hogwarts gets killed off at some point. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that scene fucking drags on. By the way, it's like the end of Return of the King. You just think this really should be over by now. Why isn't it over?
Yeah.
And
Why
then,
are
yeah.
you why are you just standing in a cemetery
And then they're
talking to
there.
each other?
They're standing over the like Cedric Diggory's grave, and they're like, "Oh, he was great." I'm like, "No, he wasn't. What embarrassment! That's all it would have taken." And Cedric Diggory would have started slaughtering his way all the way through Hogwarts. He was a loose fucking cannon, and I'm glad he's dead. And that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, question I have for the people who have seen it:
Yeah.
the way Harry Potter books work is there's the title, and the title is the thing that once Harry Potter works out what it is, it ties in the story all together. So
No,
that's always
literally
the
everyone's the
turning point.
cursed child. It's never revealed. There's no indication through the staging who the cursed
Okay.
child is.
Who is the cat? It's no
It's everyone.
one.
No, the
It's
cursed,
sort of everyone.
The cursed child is Voldemort's daughter, which is why there's that nest and the wings, because it's all reference to her, and she's a flying bird.
But she's the only one who doesn't have a curse on her at some point. Like
Yeah.
Albus and
But she
Scorpius
has
both
a
indicate to have
prophecy
curses
live
on her.
up
She never
to,
does.
and doesn't. I mean, she's supposed to be the curse.
Albus has
so.
like the Bane's like, oh, he has a thing following around. They set them all up, but at the end, I kind of wanted to go, oh, she was a right cursed child, wouldn't she? That's what I needed.
Bane literally says, oh, Albus might have a bit of a dark cloud. Harry's like, alright, I'm gonna fucking tear up my human right of conventions on this shit, based on the vague mumblings of a centaur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was he in Slytherin? Never established. He was just in Slytherin. Just in Slytherin.
Kind of misdirection,
I didn't
because
really have
like
a
you're supposed to think
problem
that's
with
why he
him
doesn't get on
being
with his
in
father, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
here's the thing. That's not how the Sorting Hat works. The Sorting Hat wanted to put Harry Potter in Slytherin because he had fucking Voldemort in his head.
Also, for the record, the Sorting Hat was a bowler hat, and that was really annoyed me.
Well, it was a black guy in a bowler hat, in my
Yeah,
performance at least.
it was.
And he kind of wanders around and he takes the hat off his head and puts it on someone else's head.
Yeah.
And then he himself, there's like the hat's not a puppet or anything. It's
Yeah.
not anything like the films.
But it's also
It's
a
kinda
bowler
odd.
hat and not a wizard's hat, and that pisses me off.
Interesting. And I want to leave you now because we've got 1 minute left. We have to wrap this up. My favourite line from the entire book that wasn't the "I love you, Dumbledore" one or any other ones was this line that I had to read it 3 or 4 times to go, wow, JK actually wrote that line. The line is, and I think it's Scorpius who says it when he sees something. I don't know. I can't fucking remember. Jesus, I don't care. He says the line is, "Wow, squeak! My geekness is a quivering." You know that bit in Harry Potter where Dumbledore has to drink from that thing and it starts making him really weak, but he has to keep going and keep drinking it, otherwise he'll never get lucky. And he keeps drinking it and going and drinking and going, and it's killing him. It's killing him, and he's drinking it. It's pain and it's agony, and he's forcing it down his throat. And he's drinking it.
That was this for you, was it?
Just came into my head there, that bit. You know. No idea why. Anyway,
I think it was...
Final comments, final wrap-up on this thing.
I still came away enjoying it, but I do say that, the plot is just awful. Like, you have to go through it going, okay, it's a good episode of Doctor Who. It's not very good at being Harry Potter. It's pretty good at being Doctor Who. Rules. Because
Doctor Who breaks Doctor Who's time travel rules.
All of Doctor Who breaks Doctor Who's time travel rules. So that's the thing.
Doctor Who always has the same type of time travel in every episode. Each episode may have different types, but it's consistent throughout. This had 3 different types of time travel and 3 different types
I'm
of how
not overly sold
work
on that, but and it was very fun, and I liked the jokes, and J.K. Rowling has written good mysteries since Harry Potter, which is what I like about Harry Potter, but she hasn't actually written anything with good comical characters. So it was nice to see her write some jokes.
Yeah, if you were there in the audience, like, the predominant reaction is overwhelming. There was a lot of laughter from the audience. Like, it is a fun...
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely got some
It's a funny thing for the fans. It's quite light-hearted, most of it. It's mainly fun for the fans. That's what it is.
It would have been
it's not
so
meant to be
much
taken
better.
seriously.
So much better if we just had first-year Albus, he's in Slytherin, the family name's hanging over his head. He's hanging out with someone who's like Voldemort's son. Go from there. That's a story to tell. And then you can have Harry's parenting issues, but tell them from a distance with owls and... Yeah.
I mean, I'd have liked James Potter bullying Voldemort's son and saying, hey, actually, just because that's the daughter of Voldemort and that's the son of Harry Potter doesn't mean they're the good guy and they're the bad guy. Like, they're separate people from that, and that reinforcing that storyline.
But no, it wasn't. You are your parents.
Also, Hermione, I don't know how she worked in the book, but I really didn't feel like they got her anywhere near right.
Yeah, I came away thinking Hermione didn't feel Hermione-ish, and they didn't carry the spirit of her, really.
I think some of that's just because Hermione's supposed to be the bossy know-it-all, and once they sort of made her Minister of Magic, but she's not really the main character, which meant she couldn't really be the bossy know-it-all. But she didn't spend much time correcting
Ron was a
people.
great extent. Yeah, Ron felt like a good extension for Ron. Harry
Ron
felt
was
to me like
wonderful.
a reasonable Ron in the... Harry felt like Harry in the future. Like, okay, I understand why Harry would be a shit dad, and it makes sense to me. Hermione, I kind of felt like, I don't really know if you know... I just felt like they didn't know what to do with Hermione, really.
Yeah, I totally had that too.
She didn't have... Like, I couldn't remember a single, like, really a standout line that I remember her saying that will stick with me.
Oh, God, guys, we're being played out.
It's 10 o'clock.
Right, I'm off! Thank you for listening to that rant.
The Nerd Cube!
Yeah, that was the Outrage episode.
The Nerd Cube!
See you later, everybody. Goodbye!
Goodbye!
I'm also outraged about things that aren't Harry Potter.
Spectro, fucking awful play.
Oh, the Patronus was an awful effect. That was such a letdown.
Oh, yeah, that was really fucking weird.
Shut up!
I don't even know how that was
up.
supposed to be
Shut up,
done.
John.
Yeah,
Shut
no,
up, John.